My head is going mad at the moment, but yeah, I mean it is, and I think it's so exciting because I even think you can't write off Ireland. You know, I think how Ireland, obviously, they've got the new manager in charge there. They've organised. You saw in the World Cup, they want to go for it as well. They're not just happy just to sit back and let teams drum them. They're going to want to get results. But yeah, you're looking at those teams potentially. Obviously, England, Sweden, and France. Potentially, you're going to be in a playoff. That's huge.
Yeah, all three of those teams will feel that they can win this group, let alone finish in the top two. And as Gilly says, let's not write off the Republic of Ireland freshmen pressing despite not getting out of the group stage, but still giving a good account of themselves at their first Women's World Cup in the summer. So we're underway here at Wembley. A huge test this for England, as this group will be. They've got to finish in the top two to go through automatically as they look to defend their European crown. It's Sweden who get us underway, playing from right to left, all in yellow. England in the white shirts, the dark shorts and the white socks. And England have the throw midway through their own half, and Lucy Bronze prepares to take it. In terms of Sweden's team news, they make 9 changes from the side that thumped Bosnia and Herzegovina 5-0 in the second leg of their Nations League playoff. That means that they are in this League A for the European qualifiers. They had a disappointing Nations League campaign, finished third in their group, which was a real surprise, and they were the team that everybody wanted to avoid in pot 3 for these qualifiers. England didn't manage to do so, and here comes Sweden, breaking down the right hand side. Early chance with the ball into the penalty area. Good sliding challenge by Lotte Ruben Moyes. Stina Blackstenius latched onto the ball, the Arsenal forward on the edge of the area, but Ruben Moyes, her Arsenal counterpart, just did enough to stop her. And as Mary Earps bowls the ball out for England, Gilly, that is an exact example of something you were saying to me before this match, that actually Ruben Moyes being preferred to the likes of Jess Carter and Leah Williamson, who could perhaps make her comeback for England this evening. She is on the bench, but particularly Jess Carter. The fact that Ruben Moyes and Blackstenius are Arsenal teammates, they just know each other so well, and maybe that's why Wiegman has selected Ruben Moyes ahead of Carter. Yeah, because I know there was a lot of talk in their last international fixture that Ruben Moyes didn't really get a chance, and she wasn't getting played ahead of Esme Morgan, for example, who isn't really playing a lot at City. And I know there's a lot of talk about it. So I was interested to say maybe Ruben Moyes is starting tonight. Obviously, she's been in fine form in the league. She's been playing really well for Arsenal, but she's coming up against Blackstenius, who she trains against day in, day out. You know, no better player. Obviously got Leah Williamson as well, but in regards to fitness, would be better match to Mark Blackstenius tonight. So Lucy Bronze with this throw for England on the right-hand side. We'll take you through the lineups in a moment. 0-0 in the early stages here at Wembley, as England's women begin the defence of their European crown as they give the ball away, and it's picked up by the former Chelsea defender Magdalena Eriksson. She plays it into the centre of Sweden, drive towards the penalty area, and again Blackstenius is making a nuisance of herself in the area. She's well dispossessed by Niamh Charles, but Charles can only play it out for a corner, and Blackstenius, the Arsenal forward, is looking so lively through the centre for Sweden. Yeah, and Sweden are on their front foot as well. They're not just sitting back and letting England have possession. They're going at England, they're pressing England, and that's what I think is good for any neutral. I think when a team does come at England, is how England are going to deal with that. You know, and when they have the ball, they need to look after it. So corner will be taken over on the far side for Sweden. Jonna Andersson, the former Chelsea player. So many of these Swedish players have WSL experience. They know these England players, these Lionesses, so well. They played with them, they played against them. Of course, the same is true for England as Sweden take this corner from the far side. It's swung towards the edge of the 6-yard box, cleared away by England, but will be sent in once more by Sweden. Niamh Charles heads away for England and will be headed on towards Lauren James by England. But Sweden collect the ball on the halfway line and they're in possession, but there's no doubt about it, Gilly Flaherty, Sweden have started the better here, 0-0. Yeah, they're very comfortable on the ball. You know, there's a lot of third player runs as well. They're trying to move England. They've got possession. England are struggling really to not only win it but also keep hold of it as well. But yeah, Sweden are definitely setting the tempo and the standard so far. And they have the ball back with Jennifer Falk, who is in for the Chelsea goalkeepers, Zecira Mušević. Sweden give the ball away at the back, cleared away by Magdalena Eriksson, but the whistle's gone and it will be a free kick to England on this near side. Yeah, I was a bit interested. I think Magdalena Eriksson just comes in a little bit late, just with her timing, but you know, it's a pretty honest battle between the two of them there. And I think even from a centre-half point of view, you know, when you're coming up against your centre forward, you want to let her know really that you're there early. I mean, it weren't a huge tackle, but yeah, it was just letting Russo know, listen, I'm right behind you at all times. Yes, it is. Alessia Russo down, and England's medical staff are on and giving Alessia Russo some treatment. Russo, who of course scored that absolutely delicious back heel in that semi-final victory for England against Sweden at the Euros. It was one of these opportunities where she'd fired the initial shot straight at Hedvig Lindahl, and I remember her saying afterwards, well, actually just back heeling it through her legs was the quickest route to goal. But I think she's doing herself a disservice,
So casual,
Gilly.
eh? So casual. Well, that was the quickest route. I'll just back heel it. I don't think I ever thought that in my whole time of playing football, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, it just shows the confidence as well of Russo. And knowing Hedvig Lindahl, she would have been absolutely fuming with that as well.
Yes, former Chelsea goalkeeper Hedvig Lindahl. As Russo is still receiving treatment here, so a little bit of concern for the Arsenal and England striker. But yes, it was an absolutely wonderful strike. Took the roof off at Bramall Lane as England coasted through to that European Championship final. No surprise that Alessia Russo is on the front of the programme here at Wembley. Got her nominated for the Puskás Award as well. But Russo is still receiving treatment. And let's go back to that semi-final, because there are a lot of similarities in terms of the players in both the England and Sweden squad. A few changes, you know, the likes of Lauren James, who we see over with Alessia Russo now, a little concerned for her teammate who wasn't involved in that, and is such a bright spark for England these days. But that game could have been very different. You know, even then I think we were all shocked at the scoreline and how Sweden fell apart. And I remember Stina Blackstenius, who's had an early chance here, denied by Lotte Wubben-Moy, hit the woodwork early on. Then Mary Epps made a big save from her at 2-0 England as well. You know, 2-1 could have been a different game. Sweden really didn't do themselves justice on that day.
No, and I was bitterly disappointed really with Sweden, because, and I think even in the World Cup as well, it was very similar in the World Cup. You know, you sometimes when you expect so much from a country and from Sweden, and then they just turn flat or they don't turn up, it's a bit like you put all the hard work in, you know, to get to that point, and then when it comes to the big moment on the big stage, you don't show up. And I think with Sweden, there'll be a team that will have to learn from those experiences. And with Blackstenius, we see it week in, week out in the WSL. She will get chances. She misses quite a fair few of them, but she probably puts the ones that are more difficult in the back of the net. But I think she's a player who you cannot switch off against, because she will continue to get chances.
Well, Sarina Wiegman is standing with her hands in her pockets, still watching on as Alessia Russo is receiving treatment. She's not yet got up to her feet, Russo, and they are applying some strapping to that right leg there. So concerns here for Alessia Russo. England will have a free kick whenever we restart, and indeed the delay is taking so long that England are just passing the ball around.
See as well, we're able obviously to see it on a little monitor, but it seems like she's got a bit of a nasty cut as well on her shin. When I looked back at the replay though, it seems like Magdalena Eriksson just literally toe punts her shin or whatever it is. So yeah, it just seems maybe potentially she's been caught really quite bad. If it's a deep cut, for example, we can see obviously we're able to see on the monitors they're cutting the sock. They'll have to get that seen to, but it's going to be in a difficult position as well, because it looks like it's around near her shin pad. So if that's something that does need stitches, for example, there's a good chance that could reopen. So yeah, they'll obviously be able to get her off and see, really have a full assessment of her.
Yeah, she is up to her feet, Alessia Russo, and she's walked over to this near side. Those are the cheers you can hear. So England with this set piece temporarily down to 10, as Gilly says, they are continuing to assess Alessia Russo and to see exactly how bad this damage is. So free kick to be taken from this right hand side. Alex Greenwood, the set piece specialist of England and Manchester City, is over it in the bright orange boot. She swings it in left footed so we can get first contact, and the ball is volleyed behind by Grace Clinton, giving another start for England. Met it in a bit of space, but always sailing behind Jennifer Falk's Sweden goal.
I always think as well, when you've got a left footer like Alex Greenwood who's able to do an in-swinger like that, I mean, I don't think there's necessarily anything more beautiful than a left-footed free kick taker. But yeah, Grace Clinton, she goes with her left foot, seems to completely slice it and puts it well wide of the goal.
So Sweden get us back underway. Russo still sitting down on this near side, just in front of our commentary position, receiving treatment. It's goalless in the early stages. 9 minutes played here at Wembley in this women's Euro qualifier between England and Sweden. Earlier in the women's qualifiers, it finished goalless between Serbia and Scotland. It's still currently goalless between Northern Ireland and Malta. That's just begun in the second half. Half-time, Wales are leading Croatia by 1-0. France are hosting the Republic of Ireland in England's group. That match is just about to get underway. We'll keep you right up to date with that. And shock scoreline elsewhere. Austria are beating Germany by 2-0. Sweden come down the right-hand side. Eventually the flag is up against Stina Blackstenius. And the ball will be placed on the corner of the England penalty area for an England free kick. So Alessia Russo is back up to her feet. They've patched her up and she is back on the field of play. So huge cheers around Wembley. They've sold around 60,000 tickets here for this beginning of the defence of their European crown for the Lionesses. As the ball is picked up in the centre of the field by the captain on the night for England, Kira Walsh. Sweden win the ball once more and England trying to get it back, but they can't do so. Has been a very good start by Sweden. Angeldal, though, of Manchester City has lost it, and England will come forward down this left-hand side. A couple of ricochets. Another England player's gone down on the far side, and Sweden have possession. And the whistle goes as Linda Sembrant was preparing to play the ball forward, as our referee just makes sure that there is no lasting damage on the far side. Referee from North Macedonia, Ivana Projkovska. But it looks like a painful one on that far side for Grace Clinton, and she is just gingerly getting to her feet. But again, it has been stop-start with the injury to Alessia Russo. But England so far not really settled into this game, as Lucy Bronze will pick it up just outside the penalty area. Plays it back to Alex Greenwood, who plays it to Mary Earps, who is in goal for England. The back four of Lucy Bronze, Lotta Ubenmoy, Alex Greenwood and Niamh Charles. Ahead of them it's Georgia Stanway, Kira Walsh taking the armband tonight, with Leah Williamson on the bench hoping to make her comeback, and Grace Clinton completing that midfield with Lauren James, Lauren Hemp and Alessia Russo back on the field after that early injury up front. Lucy Bronze has the ball for England, will take the throw midway through the Sweden half. The header is won by Giulia Ziggiotti of Brighton. England pick it up once more. Out to the right-hand side they go, and Lauren Hemp, who steers it back to Lucy Bronze. Midway through the Sweden half, little interception by Barcelona's Fridolina Rolfö, but won't be able to keep hold of it, and the ball is all the way back with Mary Earps. So Sweden with Jennifer Falk in goal. Back four of Hanna Lundqvist, Linda Sembrant, Magdalena Eriksson, former Chelsea captain, and Jonna Andersson, also formerly of Chelsea. We'll finish that lineup in a moment, because Sweden coming forward here, but Mary Earps will clear that ball away. Didn't quite get the distance on it, as Lani almost picking it up, and it goes out for a Sweden throw. So Philippa Angeldal of Manchester City, Kosovar Asllani, formerly of Manchester City, and Giulia Ziggiotti of Brighton are the Sweden midfield, with Johanna Rytting Kaneryd of Chelsea, Stina Blackstenius of Arsenal, and Fridolina Rolfö, the Spanish and European champions Barcelona. Up front as Sweden lose possession over on that far side, and England have the throw. 12.5 minutes gone, it's goalless at Wembley.
Just was watching as well, when Sweden get the ball at the back, their first thought is to go, to stretch. We got like player like Blackstenius, who we see do week in, week out at WSL, stretch the back line. A lot of Ubenmoy is not giving her any time whatsoever. She's with her all the time. So England will just have to be aware of that as well. As soon as the back four for Sweden get it, you have to drop, because one ball over the top. Blackstenius is pretty quick as well. She's deceivingly quick. She's onto it.
Ball goes out of play for another Sweden throw. Stina Blackstenius scoring the winner late on in extra time in the League Cup final for Arsenal against Chelsea at the weekend. Leah Williamson, incidentally, did come off at half-time in that match for Arsenal. She was in full training on Tuesday, and they were hoping, England, that she would be able to play her part and make her return. She is on the bench. It would be the first time in almost a year that she has played for the Lionesses after missing the World Cup, reaching the World Cup final, England, as they did in Australia last summer with an ACL injury. Here come England down the right-hand side. Lauren Hemp has it, approaching the penalty area. Hemp still going, driving towards the byline. Now checks and plays it back to Lucy Bronze, who's joined the attack with her. Bronze herself holds up play and will now feed Georgia Stanway, who finds Bronze once more, and now in field to Lauren Hemp. But Sweden, the yellow shirts, well marshalling and just closing down. So England will go all the way back to Lotta Ubenmoy on the halfway line, but the ball forward is intercepted by Sweden once more, Fridolina Rolfö, and now they are countering over the halfway line, and here they come with Angeldal of Manchester City. Stops midway through the England half, plays the ball out to the right-hand side, but the pass wasn't quite precise enough, was read well by Niamh Charles. Sweden had the throw over on the far side. It's tight, it's tense, it's 0-0 here at Wembley on BBC Radio 5 Live, as Sweden pick it up once more, playing it quickly and neatly from the throw as they look to work it down that right-hand side, but the ball into the area won't find a yellow shirt, and Alex Greenwood can come across and tidy up, trying to play it out to Lauren James. Sweden get the foot in. Oh, that's very ambitious. Some fans in front of us are trying to start a Mexican wave. 15 minutes in, I think about 7 people joined in. Shall we, Gilly?
Did you join in?
I was concentrating.
I was as well, to be honest. I didn't clock it.
Over on the far side, Sweden in possession, and they'll play it back towards the halfway line. They want a free kick, but nothing doing, so they have it inside their own half. Huge match in the Championship. If Rotherham don't win, they'll be relegated to League One. How have they started against Plymouth? Tom Gale.
Well, it's 0-0, Vicky, but it's the visitors Plymouth asking all of the questions. A couple of set pieces keeping the Rotherham keeper Victor Johansson busy. The home side, as you say, need to win, but yet to have an attempt on goal. It's Rotherham 0, Plymouth 0.
Thanks very much, Tom. As Lotte Wubben-Moy has it at the back for England and exchanges passes with Alex Greenwood. England, who are playing for the 11th time at Wembley, the Lionesses, and it is a venue that they've really grown into, isn't it, Gilly? They're unbeaten in their last 5 games here, 1-4, and have had some huge occasions here, not least, of course, winning the European Championship final. Gilly's thoughts on that in a moment as Lauren James brings it forward for England, out to the right-hand side, and Lauren Hemp plays the ball into the area. Poor delivery, and Falk will play.
Yeah, obviously, just in regards to your point about Wembley, you know, obviously we heard Lucy Bronze say that it's the home of the football for women's football now. They're comfortable playing here, they're getting used to playing here, they're getting the crowds come here as well, and I think it's nice that England are able to have a base and to have a home, and hopefully we see it for many more times.
Here comes Jonna Andersson for Sweden, down the left-hand side. Lauren Hemp closes down the angle, so she goes back to Fridolina Rolfö as Sweden look to play it through the centre, and Gilly Flaherty to my right lets out a little sigh of relief because England get the block in. Sweden still have it down the right, but that could have been very dangerous, and they still could be here. Ball into the penalty area from Sweden, headed away by Lucy Bronze powerfully. Lauren James will collect just outside her own penalty area, and she wins the free kick for England. But Gilly, that ball through the centre that England just about managed to cut out looked very dangerous indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I did do a bit of a noise, to be honest, away from the mic, because I was a bit like, wow, like that. You could see Gijotti what she wanted to do. You know, she was about to cut that defence in half, and Alex Greenwood reads it really, really well. An important stop from Alex Greenwood, because if she doesn't, then Sweden are through.
Germany have got to go back against Austria. That's just before half-time. Could be a shock scoreline, though, in the women's qualifiers here at Wembley. 17 minutes played, and it's goalless between England and Sweden. A reminder, the top 2 in this group, and only the top 2, go through automatically. And with the difficulty of this group, 3 of the world's top 6 are in it, England, Sweden and France, could have a situation where England know, as the European champions, if they don't bring their A game in this group, they could be heading for a playoff as they look to retain their crown. Of course, a huge amount of football to be played. This is the first game of that qualifying campaign, but this is not like qualification campaigns of the recent decades where England have breezed through. They've changed the format. This is a real test, and Sweden are providing a real test so far, as we thought they would. They're the better side at the moment, but it's 0-0, 18 minutes gone, as England win a free kick on the edge of the centre circle.
Yeah, it was a late tackle from Gijotti. At first I thought it was actually a decent one, to be fair, but yeah, I think the referee's behind her and she goes to go in from the side, but I think it's Clinton that actually gets the connection on the ball, not Gijotti. But it's just interesting as well with England, because you've got Lauren Hemp who's come and set up on the right-hand side. I would prefer to have her on the left-hand side, because she's getting the ball and all she wants to do is come in on her left foot, where she's good, but she's better running at players and trying to beat players on the outside, because Jonna Andersson, who's also left foot as well, she knows exactly what she wants to do, so she's cutting it out. So it'd be interesting to see, obviously, whether that stays the same or whether there is a little bit of a change-up.
Lauren James dispossessed. And England will pick it up, though, on that far side. Steve Charles, though, is forced backwards all the way to Alex Greenwood, who whips it out to this right-hand side. And Lucy Bronze chests it down. Bronze was one of those who scored in that 4-0 victory over Sweden in the European Championship semi-final. And she's on the ball once again. Interchange attempted with Georgia Stanway, but Stanway's played the ball straight out of play. It's a throw to Sweden. England really haven't got going here, Gilly.
No, they haven't, and I know I'm going to talk about Lauren Hemp, and she's probably going to go and end up scoring or setting an assist up being on this right-hand side, but...
Here she goes, down the right. Oh, it's gone out for a goal kick. You're fine, Gilly.
But Lucy Bronze plays the ball to her, and naturally she just wants to go back because she's on her left foot, but she can't go and beat Jonna Andersson on her right because obviously she's not necessarily that comfortable doing it. So it's a bit like you've got Lauren James on the opposite side, who obviously she's got a bit of a free roll. She's sort of playing on the left-hand side, but wandering inside. But I think you just see Lauren Hemp do it week in, week out as WSL. Playing on the left, she's running, she's direct at players, and I really think she could hurt and punish Sweden if she went over to the other side.
So Jennifer Falk on the edge of her 6-yard box will clear up over the halfway line. The latest in the other game in England's group, which has only been going 10 minutes, and France are already ahead. Marie-Antoinette Katoto, so they lead Ireland by 1-0. Ireland very much the underdogs in this group, but France, Sweden and England are all in the world's top 6. And really, having missed out in the Nations League and finished second in that group to the Netherlands, and with it lost the chance of qualifying Team GB for the Olympics. This sort of group, England knew when the draw was made that they would have to be at their best, particularly at home. They'll want to beat Sweden, they'll want to beat France, of course they'll want to beat Ireland. They play Ireland in Dublin on Tuesday, that is their next game. But here at Wembley, with France leading against Ireland, it's 0-0 between England and Sweden. Grace Clinton picks it up and plays it in field to Kira Walsh. Poor ball from the captain on the night, and will be picked up immediately by Sweden. And Blackstenius and Rolfer could be in here. Blackstenius leaves it for Rolfer into the area, drives the shot across goal. I think Mary Earps had it covered as it trickles past that far post. But again, Sweden are just looking far more dangerous than the Lionesses at the moment, Gilly.
Yeah, and to be honest, England back line was all over the place there as well. Lucy Bronze was completely out of position. Rolfer and Blackstenius go into the space that Lucy Bronze leaves. They're just unable to watch the replay here. They're completely all over the place, England back line. And it's so quick from Sweden to break. And Rolfer, yeah, she does snatch it. She's really wide of the goal. So I think it took something special to beat Mary Earps from that angle. But yeah, it's a warning sign to England.
Mary Earps is in possession, all in green with the bright orange gloves and boots, as Alex Greenwood plays it forward. Nice little turn on halfway as Clinton brings it forward for England, lays it off to Georgia Stanway, and Stanway now finds Lauren Hemp, right hand side of the penalty area. Hemp though closed down, so plays it to Lucy Bronze, who swings it into the penalty area. Anderson heads away for Sweden. Bronze will pick it up again midway through the Sweden half. She is challenged by Kosovare-Asllani, but the referee says no foul there, and England in possession inside the centre circle. But yeah, we talk about that England defending, Gilly, there. It has not been a strong point of theirs recently. 2 clean sheets in their last 11 games. That's quite simply not good enough.
No, it's not, and I think it's just everyone wants to bomb forward.
Lauren Hemp is doing that right now, shoulder to shoulder with Jonna Andersson. Good defending by Andersson, but it will be an England corner. Just got a toe on the ball to get away from him. Ever since you've questioned repeatedly whether she should be on the left, which to be fair, I think a lot of people will have been thinking, she's been pretty good down this right-hand side.
Can she hear me, Vicki? Can she hear me? I'm a bit worried.
So England corner from this right-hand side. Alex Greenwood is over it for the Lionesses as they look for the breakthrough midway through this first half against Sweden. 4 white shirts around the penalty spot, 2 inside the 6-yard box as Greenwood swings it in. It's cleared away by Sweden, who are a tall side. They're good at defending set pieces and they're dangerous from them in an attacking sense as well. So England forced all the way back to Kira Walsh. She plays it now to Lauren James. The yellow shirts of Sweden are very deep as England look to play around them with Georgia Stanway. Plays it out to the right-hand side now, and Alex Greenwood, who will play it in field once more to Kira Walsh, and back to Greenwood now, who plays it left-footed into the penalty area, and the run inside the area was a good one on that far side by Niamh Charles, but she's just dispossessed on the corner of the 6-yard box. England have won it back though on that left-hand side. Picked up now by Lotte Wubben-Moy, who stepped forward, and now back to Kira Walsh as England try and keep this momentum. But what a run that was by Charles. She just couldn't get the shot away in time, Gilly.
I don't know how the Swedish defender managed to actually get it off of Charles. I thought, unbelievable tackle, to be fair to her.
Here comes Lauren James, right-hand side of the penalty area. James dinks the ball across, and the header is inside the 6-yard box. And England do find the breakthrough against Sweden. They haven't been at their best so far, but they have delicious. This was a straightforward header, but the right place, the right time for Russo. And Russo it is, who gives the Lionesses the lead against Sweden.
And Vicki, I know I'm not a manager here, but Lauren James goes on the right-hand side, and look what happens. She gets an assist. Do you know what I mean? A little dink on the right foot. Russo's there, great header. Lauren James and Lauren Hemp have a little switch up. Beautiful play from England. Good patient build-up. Lauren James beats Jonna Andersson. And Alessia Russo, great downward header. But I'm not just saying nothing, but I'm saying that my tactics worked. We get a goal.
It was a brilliant ball from Lauren James, and it did, as Gilly Flaherty has pointed out, come from her switching to the right-hand side and Lauren Hemp going over to the left as the ball is all the way through with Mary Ertz. But it was one of those, it was agonising for Sweden, wasn't it? They were jumping in the area, almost managing to get ahead on it. But Russo did what Russo does. The poacher's finish. It's been a tough season for her. She did admit that in her move from Arsenal, which was so well publicised, moving from Manchester United. 10 goals for them this season, but it hasn't had the lift-off really she would have wanted. Can England have lift-off here? Well, Stanway, we know, can score a worldie. She has a try from just outside the D, and it sails not too far over the bar.
Lauren Hemp as well, picking up on the left-hand side there, Vicki. You know, playing it to Georgia Stanway. But you know Georgia Stanway, what she's like. When she opens up, the space opens up. She had one thing on her mind, and that was to have an attempt, and she's got every right to. But, yeah, in regards to Russo, you know, she has had it difficult because there was a lot of hype. She's still a young player. A lot of hype about the money side of it, the amount that she was going to be signing for. I've known Alessia since she was a young girl. Very humble player, very humble person. Probably wouldn't have liked all that attention anyway. So then to come to Arsenal, and people expect her to deliver from game one, you know, and she didn't. But she's got to get used to playing with new players, and obviously that was the whole Blackstenius, who plays out of her, and Russo. And, yeah, she's had to have a patient season, but, yeah, she's got a bright future in the women's game.
Yeah, still just 25 years old as Sweden win a throw midway through their own half over on the far side. But she has scored a big goal for the Lionesses, as she did so many times from the bench at the Euros. More goals at the Women's Euros as a substitute than any other player. And the Sweden have this throw on the far side. It was also an adjustment at national level, isn't it, in terms of coming into the starting lineup, as she did at the World Cup. Didn't quite work for her there either, although England, of course, reaching the final, losing to Spain. But does she need something just to get back on track a little bit with England?
I think she just needs time, Vicki. You know, I think obviously with her and Toon as well, they had such an important role of being sort of a super sub, you know, in those Euros, and it worked. And then all of a sudden, you now go to starting, and I think there's just a lot of pressure on her. She's a young player. She's still got so much to learn within the women's game and learn as an out-and-out centre forward, as a number 9. And the only way you learn that is by playing regularly and playing up against the best as well.
So Sweden in possession, win a throw on this near side just inside the England half. England leading by 1-0. Latest scores in the women's qualifiers, it's still goalless between Northern Ireland and Malta. That is midway through the second half. 10 minutes gone in the second half of Wales against Croatia, and Wales lead by 3-0. Half-time between Austria and Germany. Austria still leading by 2-1. Could be a surprise scoreline there. Spain, the reigning world champions, no problems for them. They're 3-0 up against Belgium. 10 minutes to go until half-time there. And France still lead the Republic of Ireland by 1-0. 16 minutes gone at the other match in England's group, as Jonna Andersson has it for Sweden on the left-hand side. And Kira Walsh picks it up wearing the captain's armband, with Leah Williamson on the bench hoping to make her comeback from injury. I should say, Gilly, you know, we've been on air since then, that the news broke when we were at Chelsea that Steph Orton will be retiring at the end of the season. But this is the first time the Lionesses have stepped out since Orton announced that decision, and I'm sure many people here will have so many memories of what she's done for England over the years. A real icon and inspiration and legend of the game.
Yeah, she's a captain, leader, legend, as they say. You know, she embodies what a captain should be, what a leader should be, and she's definitely left the shirt in a much better place. She's been pivotal in the growth of the women's game, you know, and you won't find many players like her now. You know, it's people are a different breed in the women's game now, you know, and Steph deserves a lot of respect from the women's game, and hopefully she gets the send-off as well that she deserves.
Former England defender Gilly Flaherty alongside us on 5 Live this evening. That big cheer for Mary Earps rushing to the edge of her penalty area and getting there ahead of Jonna Andersson. England leading Sweden in this Women's Euro qualifier as they begin the defence of their crown by a goal to nil. Alessia Russo's header from close range, 29 minutes gone here at Wembley as England have the ball over on the left-hand side. A bit of pressure from Sweden. A key part now for Sweden is how they respond. I think they had edged it. They have been the better side, but it's England with the breakthrough and they're looking for another. Greenwood with the ball over the top, headed away before it can reach Stanway, and Jonna Andersson will clear up towards Fridolina Rolfö. And here goes the Giotti of Brighton out to the left-hand side, and Arsenal's Stina Blackstenius, who is up against her Arsenal teammate, lots of Ruben Moy, and I'll tell you what, Ruben Moy is up for this. She's got a foot in there on Blackstenius. Rolfö picks it up though, and ball is through into the penalty area. Flag stays down for now. Aslani straight at Mary Earps as the flag eventually goes up over on the far side. That was a big chance for Sweden. Yes, it would have been ruled out. We don't have VAR, incidentally, so no chance for a second look, although there is goal line technology, but she played it straight at Earps.
Yeah, and it all come because a lot of Ruben Moy got tight to Blackstenius. Blackstenius dragged a lot of Ruben Moy out, and Lucy Bronze wasn't really switched on next to her and taking the centre-half role. I'm just able to see a replay, and it's actually very, very tight. It's very, very close. And I think England were fortunate. Obviously, Aslani, she hits Mary Earps anyway. She don't do nothing with it. But it's a warning sign for England.
Here comes Sweden once more. Rolfö won't trap that ball from Angeldal though, and Kira Walsh plays it out to the left-hand side. And there she is again, Lauren Hemp out on the left wing. Just as Gilly Flaherty wanted to see. Let's see what she can do. Driving towards the penalty area, now down to the byline, but just won't keep it in. And it does go out for a Sweden goal kick. England still lead by a goal to nil.
Things just got a bit excited there, Vicky, that she was on the left-hand side, so she ends up running it out of play. But I just think, though, when you look at her there, you know, she's got the ball. Before she went over to the left-hand side, every time she got the ball on this right-hand side, she went backwards. And you don't see Lauren Hemp go backwards in the game. And here now on the left-hand side, she's now confident. She's running at the full-back. And she's the Lauren Hemp that you see week in, week out.
Wales are now 4-0 up against Croatia. That's approaching the hour mark in their Women's Euro qualifier. Great start to the campaign for them here at Wembley on 5 Live. England are leading Sweden by a goal to nil as Falk, the Sweden goalkeeper, all in bright red, sends the ball up over the halfway line. It's picked up by their captain Aslani, and now on the right-hand side will be driven forward. Difficult ball to deal with, and Mary Earps just about stays inside her penalty area as she comes and claims. There have been some questions over Earps's place in the national side from some supporters. Hannah Hampton doing very well, having fought her way into the Chelsea team. For you, I mean, she is the reigning FIFA best women's goalkeeper. She's been England's number one. She's Manchester United's number one. In terms of England's number one for those 2 major tournaments, winning the Euros, finishing runners-up at the World Cup. Is there a debate to be had there, Julie?
I don't think she's done anything particularly wrong for England to lose her place, you know. And I think she's, at the moment, with Manchester United, she's got a defence who are playing poorly in front of her. And the goals that she conceded, majority of them, she can't really do much about them. She's got a centre-back setting up and giving assists to the opposition. Do you know what I mean? So there's only so much she can do. But I think for a while she's playing well for England and not really necessarily making the mistakes for England, then yeah, I don't think she should lose her place in that sense. But obviously Hannah Hampton has done really well to get into Chelsea and to retain that number 1 shirt. And she'll probably be thinking, let me focus on actually just making sure I keep that number 1 shirt at Chelsea, because if any club is difficult to keep your number 1 at, it's Chelsea.
Gilly Flaherty making a late bid for the goalkeepers union there rather than the centre-halves union, as England win possession on the halfway line and played out to this left-hand side, and they're streaming forward once again. Here goes Lauren Hemp, the white shirts arriving in support. Hemp will still go towards the penalty area, pulls it back to Clinton, but it's given away to Sweden, who look to counter, and Blackstenius, if the flag stays down, could be in behind here. She's up against Ruben Moy. Stina Blackstenius looking for options, can only play it to Lucy Bronze, and England will clear. Goal at Rotherham, Tom Gale.
In a game they have to win. Rotherham are trailing, Vicky. Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1. Wide left of the penalty area. Barley Mumba beats his man and the keeper at the near post. As it stands, Rotherham are League 1 bound. Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1.
Thanks, Tom. Here at Wembley, 33 minutes gone. England lead by a goal to nil against Sweden as they begin the defence of their European crown in this qualifying campaign. It's a tough group. France are winning at home to Ireland. And these are the sort of games home against their big rivals in this group, like Sweden. England will want to win. They are winning so far, as players just paused momentarily as Lucy Bronze goes down in a little bit of a clash with Chelsea's Johanna Rytting-Kaneryd, and the referee is over quickly. Ivana Projkowska There's a potential clash of heads there. It's more back-to-back, isn't it, as we see the replay, and both players a little winded, but back up to their feet.
Yeah, Lucy Bronze wins the ball, and Ritten Cannery just gets hit in the back with Lucy coming over the top of her, but it's not malicious, it's not a clash of heads really either. It's Ritten Cannery sort of turns her back towards Lucy Bronze, and it's one of those ones where you have to be brave as a defender, because you know there's a good chance that you're going to get hurt, but Lucy Bronze fortunately is able to get back up.
Blackstenius on the turn has done brilliantly for Sweden, 20 yards out, plays it infield to Zagiotti, who curls the ball over the bar. Tell you what, that wasn't too far away. Mary Earps was on the stretch, and Sweden streaming forward. And Mary Earps able in the end to watch it over. It was Angledal, in fact, the Manchester City player, breaking in from that midfield and curling an effort narrowly over.
Yeah, she'd probably be a bit frustrated with that, really. I think she just leans back, but she should be testing Mary Earps there from the position that she's in. She's just sort of leaning back a little bit, which naturally means it's going to go over. But yeah, I mean, England again very lucky from that distance. You know, should be getting pressure on the ball, not allowing her to open up.
It is England, though, who lead by a goal to nil. Alessia Russo's header, but they've given the ball away, and there's space for the yellow shirts here, and Fridolina Rolfo of Barcelona is streaming forward. Rolfo plays it to the right-hand side. Asllani with the effort. Got a deflection. It will be a Sweden corner.
Just didn't know if that was the right decision from Rolfo. You know, I think she drives through the middle. She's swarmed by England players, but I didn't know if potentially Blackstenius on the outside, left-hand side, was better option rather than coming in onto the right-hand side. But it's a great run from Sweden again, and they break at pace as well, which I think England struggle with.
So Asllani, the captain, former Manchester City player, is over to this near side to take this corner as Sweden look for a leveller before the break in this Women's European Championship qualifier here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Sweden, who won the silver medal at the last Olympics, they regularly reach semi-finals of major tournaments. It's an indication of how hard this group is going to be as Asllani swings it to the edge of the area. Not quite away yet by England. Sweden trying to keep it alive. Eventually, Niamh Charles gets the distance on it. Sweden send it forward to the edge of the England penalty area once again. And we'll work it out now to this left-hand side. And Kosovar Asllani plays it forward to Fridolina Rolfo. Dangerous ball right across. And England just about get something on it on the edge of the 6-yard box. Oh, that's a horrible one. A horrible clearance that could have gone anywhere. It loops up, but over the bar, not into the top corner. And it's Alex Greenwood who clears it into Lotta Wibben-Moy. Bounces off Wibben-Moy, doesn't know anything about it. And it's behind for another Sweden corner.
A bit like a game of pinball, that was. It bounced off Greenwood, but it's one of those ones where you just got to hold your breath and hope that it goes away from the goal, which it does.
It does, for another Sweden corner. Asllani sends it into the crowded penalty area. England just about get first contact once again and flick that ball away. But again, Gilly, we see the danger that Sweden are from attacking set pieces. It is such a strength of this side as England clear the ball up towards halfway and it goes out for a Sweden throw. Yeah,
they're a very big team, and I also think with England they have to make sure that they don't give away silly corners, you know, or even silly free kicks. Don't give Sweden the chance to put the ball into your box. Obviously with that one they couldn't really control anything. Alex Greenwood gets in a great position to clear it. It bounces off of Lotta Wibben-Moy, but yeah, they will be mindful of that because they are such a threat.
So Hannah Lundqvist over on the far side takes this throw. She's given it away. And England should be able to clear. Up they go towards their goal scorer, Alessia Russo, who was brought down there. And that will be a free kick to England, a third of the way inside their own half. They lead Sweden by a goal to nil. 7 minutes plus added time to play in this first half at Wembley. Gilly Flaherty.
I mean, it's been a bit of an even first half. I do feel like every time that Sweden break forward, they do look very dangerous. And I feel like England as well, they've been a little bit sloppy in possession, you know, a little bit of a turnover too. But the most important thing is that they have the goal. You know, they have the goal. Ideally, I think it'd be good for them if they can get another one before going in at half-time. But, yeah, it's been a good first half so far.
Lauren James has won it over on this right-hand side. She's been quiet for the last 15 minutes or so, but now is active down that right with the orange boots. Plays it back to Lucy Bronze, who fires it into Fridolina Rolfo, and Stina Blackstenius of Arsenal will take charge. Blackstenius fresh from scoring that extra time winner in the League Cup final. As Sweden play the ball forward once more, Mary Earps comes right to the edge of her penalty area, but good shepherding back there by Chelsea's Niamh Charles, and Earps will clear away out for a throw to Sweden, who have such pedigree in the women's game over the years and have for many years had the better of England. England have won just 4 of their 27 meetings against Sweden. In fact, this would be, if England can find their way to victory, leading 1-0 as they do here at Wembley. The first time that England have beaten Sweden back-to-back after humbling them in the European Championship semi-finals back in 2022, en route to winning that first major trophy here under the Wembley arch. As Sweden have the throw. But we thought this would be a much tighter game, and it is. As Sweden break down that right-hand side, ball into the area, not quite dealt with by England, but no yellow shirt can latch onto it on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Lauren James will dink the ball clear, and Lucy Bronze has clearly been pushed over there. Well, that's how I read it. The referee says no. Fridolina Rolfö plays it back to Zigiotti, who plays the ball into the penalty area. Alex Greenwood heads away for England, brought down by Angeldal on the edge of the box, and she might work in for the shot here. Angeldal lays it off instead. Rolfö fires it in, blocked away by the head of Kira Walsh, her Barcelona teammate, and England will bring it away down the left-hand side, but they're still midway through their own half. And now we'll draw another foul as Georgia Stanway goes down, and they will win a free kick. They've been doing that well in the last few minutes, England, but they need this respite. At the moment, Sweden are on top. Sweden pushing for this equaliser.
Yeah, I don't know how Sweden haven't scored against England in that cross. That cross was so dangerous. It was beautifully played right across the box. And the thing that happens is Rolfö, rather than going running at the back post, she cuts back to the edge of the box and the ball goes at the back post. If she carries on her run, for me, that's going to be 1-1. But fortunately for England, she makes the complete opposite movement.
Brighton's Zigiotti is having a really good game in the centre of the park for Sweden. She just won the ball back and played it forward. But Sweden have lost it as the crowd inside Wembley, around 60,000 strong, raises its voice to try and galvanise their Lionesses, who are leading by 1-0 but are under the cosh at the moment. What can Lauren Hemp do to alleviate that pressure? Down the left-hand side she goes, approaching the penalty area, pulls it back to Georgia Stanway, who sends it out to Hemp once again, and will be picked up by Niamh Charles. And now Kira Walsh, captain on the night, with Leah Williamson on the bench, as Lauren James has it now. A little pocket of space is immediately closed down. They know how dangerous she is on her day, Lauren James, as Walsh intercepts and plays it back to Alex Greenwood for England.
You're talking about Lauren James, though. This is when she has to find that level in her game. If you are getting surrounded by players, what can you do? Are you going to be the little bit of a decoy, drag players out? Don't stand there and just let them do it. Pass and move the ball. You've got to try and shake them off, because they're going to want Lauren James to get into this game as well. They don't want her to be marked out of it.
Poor ball by Stanway out to the left-hand side, and it goes out for a throw to Sweden, level with the edge of their own penalty area. Germany have come from 2 goals down to draw level with Austria, 2-2. Just started the second half in that game. Germany looking to avoid an upset. And in the other game in England's group, France are leading the Republic of Ireland by 1-0. France, Sweden and England in this group, all in the world's top 6. Only 2 go through automatically to the European Championship in Switzerland. The bottom 2 will go into the playoffs. So a big name is going to miss out. And as Gilly said before this game, let's not write off the Republic of Ireland, who are only trailing France in this opening match of their campaign by 1-0. As England have the ball inside the penalty area, trying to get the shot away. It's blocked by Sweden and will spin out to Lucy Bronze. Grace Clinton making a nuisance of herself, is so impressed on loan at Tottenham from Manchester United this season, and has earned herself another start. But that effort blocked as England work it all the way back to Alex Greenwood. Gilly Flaherty.
I do think with England, I feel comfortable and confident with them at home in their home fixtures. It just worries me potentially the away form. That's what I think worries, depending how the grounds are, the atmosphere is, how that affects England.
Here they come once more though, England. Grace Clinton, edge of the penalty area, lays it off to Lauren James, right hand side. She's held up well though by Jonna Andersson, and Fridolina Rolfö comes back to help defend. She is an attacking player, Rolfö, and that's where she's playing for Sweden, but she plays so often at left back for Barcelona, so it is a real strength for Sweden to have her down that left-hand side. And as Niamh Charles has it on the halfway line, perhaps that is why Lauren James started over on the left, is perhaps the Sweden left-hand side a little bit more threatening, although, you know, Lauren Hemp and Lauren James on their day, I don't think having Lauren Hemp flying at you down either wing is something to be taken lightly.
No, and I think maybe that is potentially why they've done that as well, because they know that Rolfö will double up, you know, and will make it difficult. But, you know, Lauren James, she could have 3-4 players around her in the WSL we see week in, week out, and she gets rid of them. So I just think to get the best out of both of them rather than just get the best out of one individual, for me it has to be how they've set up now.
Well, since that goal that James provided, James has stayed on the right and Hemp on the left, as Alessia Russo, the goal scorer for England, has it on this right-hand side. Pulls it back to Lauren James. A minute to play, plus added time in this first half. England looking for a second goal against Sweden before half-time, but it's a poor ball forward, cleared away by Jonna Andersson for Sweden, and Blackstenius will field it in field to Asllani, who's getting forward more now. The Sweden captain, she finds Chelsea's Johanna Rytting-Kaneryd out on that right-hand side up against her Chelsea teammate Niamh Charles. As Grace Clinton goes sliding in, but she can't win it back for England, who are having to defend here just outside their own penalty area. Hemp goes sliding in not once but twice and does get a foot in, and Stanway will play it back to Keira Walsh, who is so calm at the base of that England midfield and just plays it back to Niamh Charles. But there are matchups between club teammates all over the pitch, and Charles against Rytting-Kaneryd is another one. We've not really seen what Johanna Rytting-Kaneryd is capable of so far in this game.
Yeah, and I think, again, when you come up against your club teammate, you know exactly how they play and how they train.
Lauren Hemp busting her gut to keep that ball in on the left-hand side, and she does so. Up against Lundqvist, pulls it back as England continue to build with Walsh down the left-hand side. But this is patient from England. They lead by a goal to nil. We're into 3 minutes at a time as the ball's into the area. Russo leaves it for Lucy Bronze. Lucy Bronze leaves it for Jennifer Falk. I don't know if there was a miscommunication there. It looked as though Russo perhaps could have continued to run a little bit more decisively, whether she knew that Lucy Bronze was coming in on the right-hand side. We've seen her score so many goals like that for England, Lucy Bronze, but in the end, a bit of a mix-up, bit of a wasted opportunity. Sweden goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great little ball from Lauren James. That's what she's dangerous, you know, getting in their little half space in the middle. I mean, yeah, she does seem to hesitate a little bit, and Lucy Bronze is really trying hard behind to get there, but that's what I think Lauren James offers, though, when she plays in that position, which is in between the midfield and the front line, you know, able to pick it up, have that free roll, really. It's hard for any defender to whether they go with her or they stay.
Here is Alessia Russo, plays it out to Grace Clinton, who plays the ball back to Alex Greenwood just inside the England half. It is consistency for James, isn't it? Bringing it repeatedly on the biggest stage. She is one of the best players in the world on her game, but these are the sort of occasions where you just are waiting for her to step up. But to be fair, she's provided one of the best moments of quality of the game, having been relatively quiet around that. Delicious assist for the Russo header.
Yeah, absolutely delicious, as we say, Vicky. But yeah, again, could be quiet, and then you know that she's a match winner. You know that she can pick the ball up and she can do something. That's why players like that, you need to keep them on the pitch for as long as you possibly can, because she has got that. But again, it's the consistency. It's about how do you break it down when you are surrounded by very good international players. You know, better players than you'll be playing in, week out. So it's her finding that next level.
Lovely bit of control by Georgia Stanway, who was just tripped at the last, and England have a free kick midway through the Sweden half. 90 seconds of added time to play in this first half. England leading Sweden by a goal to nil, and they've taken the free kick quickly. Lauren James plays it forward off Asllani. Lauren James will try and reach it again. Jonna Andersson gets there first and clears the ball out of play. I think Asllani was too busy thinking about the fact that ball hurt when it hit her to chase it. Lauren James said, all right, I'll chase it then. And they almost got in down the right-hand side there, England.
Yeah, lucky Asllani had Anderson behind her, who has actually switched onto it, because if she wouldn't, then Lauren James would have been in driving into the penalty box.
Oh, she's gone down quite softly there, Lauren James. It's one of those where as she falls to her knees, I think she realises, no, I'm not going to get this free kick, and she just gets back up and plays on. Lucy Bronze is dispossessed. Stanway wins it back, thumped away by Fridolina Rolfö. Blackstenius will chase. Mary Earps has come a long way and should be able to clear. She's taken a touch and she does steer it calmly away from Arsenal's Stina Blackstenius. England leading Sweden by a goal to nil as they begin the defence of their European crown in what is set to be a challenging qualifying campaign. They've not yet lost a Euro qualifier in the women's game since the turn of the millennium, when Gilly Flaherty can't remember what she was doing because she was so young, she told us earlier. But it's all changed. This isn't a campaign that England are going to breeze through. They didn't manage to top their Nations League group. That was a huge disappointment, ended Team GB's Olympic qualifying hopes. But they are leading at half-time against Sweden, who are one of their big rivals in this group. And Gilly, just as it was in the semi-final, although a less Pushkas a worthy goal, I think we can say the header from Alessia Russo is the difference so far.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great ball in from Lauren James. Russo in the right place at the right time. Bit disappointed though with Sweden, and they've sort of dropped off later on in this first half. They had a great start, a bright start to begin with, but then obviously since the goal, then I think it's just flattened Sweden a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out as well and how they set up in the second half.
And the key tactical change for you in the game was moving Hemp over to the left and James over to the right, which is where James provided that assist.
Yeah, maybe Serena turned around to see how animated I was in this box here to say you've got to switch them over. But yeah, I think the moment that you switched them, obviously Lauren James did get the assist, yes, but you just got to see more of Hemp as well, doing what she's comfortable at, running and driving at the Swedish backline. And yeah, for me, that switch had to happen.
Let's talk about the England backline very briefly. I mean, it's been a bit nervy at times.
It has, because England as well, they want to be bold, they want to go forward, and then what happens is they leave a lot of spaces. You know, and there's been times where they've been disjointed and players have been dragged out because they've followed players and other players haven't filled in, and they were fortunate because Aslani got called off for offside and she wasn't, in my opinion. If she was, I mean, it must have been like her toenail or something because it was very, very close. But England can't afford to play on the edge like that, you know, especially not coming up against a side like Sweden.
So ridden their luck at times, but they have the breakthrough courtesy of Russo. 1-0 they lead at Wembley at half-time.
So half-time, Vicki Sparks and the former Arsenal England defender Gilly Flaherty at Wembley for us. They'll bring us the second half in a few minutes' time. Before that, we've got quite a few bits and bobs to do on social media, by the way. Phil says, simple finish for the magnificent Russo. Lucy said, such a brilliant cross from Lauren James and a classic attacker's finish from Alessia Russo-Jackson. It's a great little dinked cross from James, but that shows what Russo is all about. Nice finish, but crucially brilliant hold-up play in the build-up as well. So half-time at Wembley and half-time at Rotherham as well. Tom Gale.
Where the hosts are going down as it stands, Darren. Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1. Only a win will do, but they trail to wing-back Barley Mumba's lovely goal just past the half-hour mark. Ball chipped over from Whittaker, wide left of the box. It just skimmed the head of the defender. Lovely first touch from Mumba into his stride, and a powerful left-footed strike flew past Johansson at the near post. As it stands, Plymouth moving 4 points clear of the drop, but Rotherham being relegated with 5 games still to play. Half-time, Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1.
Thank you, Tom. So second half commentary from Wembley to come. Before that, though, our golf correspondent Ian Carter will be live from day one of Liv's Golf's Miami Invitational, which is a bit of a mouthful. Liv Golf's Miami Invitational. That's on the way on 5 Live after the latest news from Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Darren. Good evening. The Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron has called for a wholly independent review into the Israeli airstrike in Gaza, which killed 7 aid workers on Monday. He's been speaking after the Israeli military published a report about the attack and sacked 2 senior officials. Richard Makepeace is from the charity Medical Aid for Palestinians. He told 5 Live these kind of attacks are common.
There's a tendency in some quarters to say, oh, well, this is an outlier. This is a very rare and very regrettable occurrence. I'm afraid it's not a rare occurrence at all. I mean, practically 200 Palestinian humanitarians have been killed. So there needs to be a complete sort of seismic shift in the way the IDF is operating.
A human torso has been found in woods in Greater Manchester. Police have started a murder investigation after the remains were discovered last night in Salford. Officers say the victim was an adult, but so far they don't know about its age. President Biden says whoever caused the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore will have to pay to repair the damage. He's been visiting the scene of the disaster. 6 people were killed when a huge container ship crashed into one of the supports. A pay dispute by senior doctors in England is over because they've accepted the government's latest offer. It means some consultants will receive pay rises of up to 20%. Dr Helen Neary is from their union, the British Medical Association.
Certainly the government has moved considerably from its original position in terms of talking with us. We are sorry that strike action had to happen in the first place, but it has moved the government and it has enabled us to find a constructive way forward. We believe that it really is a good deal for our members.
There's been an earthquake in New Jersey. It had a magnitude of 4.8 and rattled buildings in Manhattan and in Brooklyn. There are no reports of any major damage. And a great-granddad from Merseyside has become the world's oldest man. John Tinniswood is 111 years and 223 days old. He puts his long life down to fish and chips on a Friday and regular hiking when he was young.
This is 5 Live Sport with Darren Fletcher
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
So second half to come from Wembley. Let me just bring you up to date with the other Euro 2025 qualifiers happening tonight. All the home nations in action. France 1, Republic of Ireland 0. That's in England's group. Wales 4, Croatia 0 is the latest score as well. Scoreless between Northern Ireland and Malta. And earlier on it finished Serbia 0, Scotland 0. And the England bowler Jofra Archer will not play any Test cricket until 2025. But Managing Director Rob Key says he hopes he will be part of the T20 World Cup in the West Indies and the USA this summer. Archer hasn't played for England in any format since March 2023 because of a stress fracture in his elbow. OK, let's check in on the Rugby Champions Cup action. Half-time between Harlequins and Glasgow. Chris Ashton and James Burridge.
Evening, Darren. Yes, and Harlequins 21 points to 7 up. A brilliant response after a very sluggish first 20 minutes from Quins. Glasgow came out of the blocks, went 7-0 up, but Marcus Smith and his team beginning to boss things. They've scored 3 converted tries and looking very impressive. Chris Ashton, the former England wing, alongside me. Chris, how have Harlequins managed to get back into this contest?
Well, they've worked their way back into it slowly. I think discipline's been really poor from Glasgow second part of the first half. But Marcus Smith, he's just wanted the ball he's had so many touches every single time Harlequins hit the ball. He is central to anything positive they do. He's set up 2 tries, scored his own out of nothing. Yeah, he's been the man this first half, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and to compound things for Glasgow, Darren, their star player Sione Tuipulotu sent to the sin bin, so they've lost 3 tries, they conceded 3 tries, they're down a player, and they have got a lot of work to do if they want to stay in Europe. Quins leading at half-time by 21 points to 7.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Chris. Don't forget Sports Extra for the second half of that one. Right then, the Masters at Augusta will get underway next Thursday. 5 Live Sport will have full commentary of all 4 rounds from Georgia. Correspondent Ian Carter is already out in the United States at the LIV event in Miami. Ian, how are they doing then, the LIV golfers? How are they shaping up ahead of the Masters? This is fascinating, you know.
It is, and we've got a couple of former Masters champions showing up very nicely indeed, because Patrick Reed and Bubba Watson are currently in a share of the lead at 4 under par. They're 10, 11 holes into their first round. Remember, it's a 3-round tournament on the LIV circuit there, alongside Taylor Gooch and Brendan Steele at the top of the leaderboard. The defending champion next week, John Rahm's going quite nicely as well at 2 under par, as is another former champion, Sergio Garcia. So those players showing up very nicely as they tune up for Augusta next week. I should also, while we're just on the subject of that, because obviously other contenders are playing on the PGA Tour, and that includes Rory McIlroy at the Texas Open in San Antonio. And McIlroy's had a good day today, a 70 to move to 5 under par. He's in 5th place at the moment, only 1 drop shot in 36 holes so far. And Tommy Fleetwood showing up nicely, a round of 69 today. His caddy Ian Finnis is ill, so he's not with him this week, but Fleetwood at 4 under par in contention in Texas as it goes. So players tuning up nicely for next week.
We'll talk about Sergio Garcia in a second, but I mean, if you think back to last season, I mean, the evidence was that playing on the LIV Tour wasn't detrimental when it came to the majors. But is that always going to be the case? Will these golfers consistently maintain their sharpness playing LIV golf compared to the players week after week who are playing on the PGA Tour, do you think?
I think that's a great point, because obviously the LIV players showed up very nicely last year at Augusta, with Phil Mickelson finishing 2nd, Patrick Reed finishing up there in contention, as well as Brooks Koepka, and then Koepka went on to win the USPGA in May. But when you got to the US Open and the Open, the LIV players were far less conspicuous on leaderboards. So I think a long-term trend on how they do in the majors is going to be a very important thing to gauge going forward, certainly for the players who've taken the decision to take the money and come to LIV and turn their back on the PGA Tour, because up to that point, obviously the PGA Tour was the established breeding ground for major success.
Yeah. Let's talk about Sergio Garcia then, 2017 Masters champion, and he missed the Ryder Cup, of course. How's he looking?
Yeah, well, as I say, he's looking nicely at the moment at 2 under par. You know, it's an interesting scenario, isn't it, for people like Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter, Graham McDowell, who came across to LIV and effectively ended their European Tour careers and therefore their eligibility for the Ryder Cup. There was a lot of toing and froing last year as to whether Garcia would come back onto the European Tour. Could he come back? Would he pay his fines? And all that kind of thing. And I actually got the chance to sit down with him this week here in Miami, and I did ask the question, you know, would he like to come back and start playing again on the European Tour?
would love to. It's something that I was thinking about doing this year, but the options that they gave me, they didn't really work. You know, I was willing to pay my fines and become a member again, but then when they tell me that, okay, you can do that, but you're probably going to get suspended for a year, then what's the point? So, I mean, I've always said it. I love the European Tour. I grew up playing it. They gave me my first chances of playing as an amateur in professional events, and then obviously professionally. And I want to keep supporting it, but they got to help me. If they're going to do that to me, then what's the point?
There seems to be much more of a feeling now that things have to change for things like qualifying for the Ryder Cup and eligibility and all of that. There seems to be movement in that direction. Given what Rory said when John Rahm moved across to live as well, do you have a hope that things can move in that direction?
Yeah, I think hope is the last thing we lose. So there is hope, but we'll see. I guess until they make some decisions and then we know where we all stand, then we'll be able to to see where we go.
So that's Sergio Garcia. I mean, can you see him ever playing on a Ryder Cup team again, Ian? I mean, is he still that relevant? Is he still likely to be able to do that?
I think he's at the end of his career and playing relevance in terms of the Ryder Cup. If there was a mechanism to get him back, I would foresee more a role in the back room as a vice captain and potentially a captain in the future. But for that to happen, there has to be a significant shift in terms of unifying the game and having a degree of acceptance of live and all of that. And at the moment, we seem some distance from that, Darren.
Now, you've also been catching up with the former Open champion Cam Smith, 3 top 5 finishes at the Masters. I mean, should we be looking at him as one of the favourites for the green jacket next week?
Well, he's got that track record, but he's been patchy at best as far as the live season has been concerned. He did get into a playoff in Hong Kong, but that was sort of bucking the trend of some pretty indifferent form. He says he's been working on his swing and the courses didn't really match up for him early on. I spoke to him earlier in the week. He seemed very confident, but he's also got a preoccupation because you can't win world ranking points on the live tour, and he's desperate to try and find a way to make himself eligible for the American, for the Australian, I should say, Olympic team. So that's an issue for him. And here's what he had to say in terms of that situation as far as world ranking points are concerned.
I think there's really no reason we can't get there now other than, a few different things, but particularly the rankings. I think it's what everyone wants, and I think through kind of some motivation and some digging deep, we can hopefully get there sooner rather than later. I think it's been a bit of a longer process than what everyone thought.
You thought this would get done quicker?
Well, I just think, the more you go down it, the more stuff there is to do, and it was probably a bigger hole than what everyone thought. So it's going to take some time, but yeah, hopefully we can get there soon.
Final thought before I let you go. That was a hell of an April Fool you did last week. Talk us through it.
Well, it wasn't really my idea. I kind of completely really forgot about April Fool's Day, to be honest. But our social guy, Adrian, drew it up early in the week and put it through to us. And yeah, we all kind of got on it and said it would be a really good idea. So it definitely fooled a lot of people and got a few messages and stuff like that. But it was pretty funny, I thought.
That mullet can't go, can it?
Well, my wife said, well, you didn't cut it off for our wedding, so I don't think you're ever going to cut it off. Yeah, so it's going to be here for a while.
Yeah, that April Fool was that he'd suggested that the famous mullet had gone. I think more substantive, Darren, is just, those views on world ranking points. And I go back to the point that I made earlier on. That has to be part of the unification process, because at the moment the men's game is deeply fractured. You've got two parallel organisations, but thankfully are coming together at the majors. And that kind of just really stokes the sense of anticipation for Augusta next week.
Ian, thank you. That's correspondent Ian Carter. Coverage from Augusta starts on Monday from 9 o'clock with an exclusive interview with the defending champion John Rahm and commentary of all 4 rounds starting on 5 Live from next Thursday. Right, back to Wembley, the second half of England against Sweden. England 1 up and Gilly is alongside Vicki.
Thanks Thanks very much, Darren. Yes, welcome back to Wembley, where England are preparing to get us underway for this second half. That goal scored by Alessia Russo. It wasn't quite as beautiful as the back heel that she netted back in the semi-finals of the European Championship, but it was headed home from a delicious cross by Lauren James as England get us underway in this second half, leading by a 1-0 in what is the start of this very competitive qualifying campaign. They're leading Sweden 1-0. France are 1-0 up against the Republic of Ireland in the other match in this group. That is at half-time. Only the top two go through automatically to the Euros next summer, where England will be hoping, of course, to defend their crown. The bottom two in this group will go into the playoffs. So one big name is certain to miss out. And let's see what the Republic of Ireland can do as well. The underdogs in this group, but certainly don't write them off. Sweden in possession with Chelsea's Johanna Rytting-Kaneryd. Chelsea's Niamh Charles for England gets a foot in. Asllani, the captain, almost wins it back for Sweden, but James will come across for England and send it to Greenwood, who plays it all the way back to Mary Earps. No changes for either side at half-time as James controls that ball but can't keep it in from Earps' clearance, and Sweden have a throw. So Earps in goal for England, the back four of Bronze, Vibben-Moy, Greenwood and Charles. Stanway, Walsh and Clinton in the centre as Sweden move into the centre of the England penalty area, but England clear away. James, Hemp and the goalscorer Alessia Russo up top. Leah Williamson is on the bench for England for the first time in almost a year, looking to make her comeback after injury. Sweden in possession in the all-yellow kit, England in the white shirts, the dark shorts and the white socks, and they win the ball back, and Grace Clinton has it midway inside the England half as Walsh, the captain on the night, will send it back to Alex Greenwood. So Sweden with Falk in goal, the back four of Lundqvist, Sembrant, Eriksson and Andersson. Ahead of them it's Angeldal, Asllani the captain, and Zidiotti with Rytting-Kaneryd, Rolfö and Blackstenius, who has looked dangerous, the Arsenal forward up front, as Zidiotti comes across and wins that ball midway through her own half and sends it back to Jennifer Falk, all in red for Sweden, the goalkeeper, who plays it out to Linda Sembrant. Gilly Flaherty, the former England defender, alongside me. What do you think Sarina Wiegman will have said to her players at half-time? How will she have assessed that first half?
I mean, I think England had a good first half. The only worry for me and the concern for me was how disjointed they seemed to be at times in the defence. I think sometimes they're such on the front foot as a team that they end up getting drawn out of position, and then you come up against a team like Sweden who could expose you and could punish you for doing that.
Here comes Philippa Angeldal driving through the centre, plays it out to the left-hand side, ball into the penalty area for Sweden, headed away by Alex Greenwood, and will be picked up almost by Jonna Andersson for Sweden over on that left-hand side, but the ball goes out of play and it will be an England throw. But Andersson, the left-back, really pushing high up there, linking up well with Fridolina Rolfö of Barcelona, as England have this throw. Full times in some of the other women's European qualifiers. An earlier score, Scotland drawing 0-0 in Serbia. It's also finished goalless now between Northern Ireland and Malta. Wales have beaten Croatia by 4-0. And in games still going on, Germany have come from 2-0 down away to Austria to lead by 3-2, avoiding an upset there as it stands. 15 minutes to play in that. And midway through the second half, Spain are leading Belgium. Spain, the reigning world champions, of course, beating England in last summer's final by 4-0. So Falk has it at the back for Sweden, sends it up to the halfway line as Sweet Caroline rings around Wembley, reliving some of those memories of the summer of 2022. Sweden play it up to the halfway line. Here is Kosovare Asllani, the captain, driving down the right-hand side as Rytting-Kaneryd as an option in front of her, but Asllani's still going now, dinks it into the area, looking for Blackstenius, headed up by Vibben-Moy, not quite away by Greenwood yet though for England. James comes back to help out. Good defensive duties from Lauren James at the start of this second half as Niamh Charles clears, but not far enough. Lundqvist ball back in, chested down by Blackstenius, and then Rolfö trying the volley, complete miscue, big cheers around Wembley. And Lucy Braun should be able to clear. She steers it back to Lotta Vibben-Moy, who plays it out, looking for Georgia Stanway, who goes down again, wins a free kick again. She's done that really well. Stanway throughout this game, and England had the set piece outside their own penalty area.
Just a bit disappointed with Sweden, really, because you've just got really Blackstenius in the box, and they're trying to put the balls in the box. She's got one player against four in there, because England, the whole of their back line's in there. Then you get Rolfö joins in, and they're still outnumbered. They've got to be brave, Sweden. If you want to get a goal back, you have, and that's what you're trying to do, is trying to put balls into the box. You have to put more than just one person in there.
Lauren James in possession, stepping away from the pressure of those yellow shirts and plays it out to this left-hand side, and Niamh Charles lays it off to Georgia Stanway, skips away from Ritin Cunnarid and Angledal and almost played the perfect ball. Oh dear, Gilly, Lauren Hemp's out on the right-hand side again. Dearie me. The Sweden win possession inside the centre circle.
Come on, Serena, stop playing games. Get her back over to the left.
So, here come England with Alex Greenwoods on this left-hand side at the moment. And Sweden intercept and play the ball out to the left. And Magdalena Eriksson looking for her former Chelsea teammate, Jonna Andersson. Those two know each other so well. Played in field now by Andersson to Fridolina Rolfö. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Did well to hold on to it initially, but in the end was crowded out of it by white shirts. But again, we praised the defensive duties of Lauren James a second ago. Now we have to praise the defensive work of Lauren Hemp, the England winger, getting back to help out there as England have the ball with Mary Earps inside their own penalty area.
Yeah, it's important, and I think the game's changing now, especially in the women's game. Back when I was playing, there'd be a lot of wide players who had the job of not having to track back. You can't do that now. You can't, because fullbacks are so positive as well and always looking to join forward, and a lot of them are attacking based, and also help those players out. Don't leave it to a 1v1, but do it as a 2v1, because you have to help your defenders out. So it's good to see that happening.
6 minutes gone in the second half. England still leading by a goal to nil here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Alex Greenwood has it with the bright pink boots and sends it back to Lotte Wubben-Moy. Premier League action, of course, for you across the weekend here on 5 Live. Our commentaries begin at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Everton against Burnley, and then Arsenal against Brighton at 5:30. On Sunday, we have the Old Firm derby for you at midday, a huge game in the title race. Then Manchester United against Liverpool from 3:30, followed by Sheffield United against Chelsea at 5:30. And you can listen to full commentary of the Japanese Grand Prix as well from 5 Live on Sunday from 6 in the morning. Sweden in possession, just outside their own penalty area. Out to the right-hand side they go now, and Johanna Ritin Cunnarid tried the 1-2 with Aslani. Alex Greenwood comes across, makes a challenge. It's a Sweden throw. But I think you're right, Gilly, in terms of the way that Sweden have responded, or not responded, shall we say, to that England goal from Alessia Russo in the first half. I mean, they have still managed to get in behind and cause a little bit of danger to the England back line. But overall, they've had lost their way a little bit. What can they do here down this right-hand side? Approaching the penalty areas, Blackstenius. Good challenge by Wubben-Moy. That is a key battle, and at the moment, Wubben-Moy is coming out on top.
Yeah, Wubben-Moy is dominating it. You can just see that, though. She's all over it, and I think it's a great selection from Savina Wiegman. And with Sweden, they're relying on Blackstenius, okay? So she's running the channels. When she comes outside of the box, though, no one else is in there. If you're going to pull her wide and make her stretch the back line and come over to the right-hand side, for example, someone from the midfield has to be brave and take up that place. Otherwise, the England defenders are going to be having a jolly up.
Spain 5-0 up now, away to Belgium, midway through the second half in that Women's Euro qualifier. And Sweden with a corner here, looking to equalise against England here at Wembley. Jonna Andersson will send it in. It's a packed 6-yard box. First contact is made by Wubben-Moy and headed on by Lauren James, but every white shirt is inside the area as the shot is driven over from 35 yards or so by Chelsea's Johanna Ritin Cunnarid. Ambitious, never troubling Mary Earps, and England still lead 1-0.
Yeah, completely the wrong decision from Ritin Cunnarid there. You had Jonna Andersson on her right-hand side, completely unmarked, who's able to probably get the ball and then put the ball into the box, where Sweden are a lot more dangerous.
Oh, she has scored 3 goals for Chelsea this season. She's their top assist maker as well, but Peter Gerhardsson, the Sweden manager, sitting in his dugout, might feel she's not really got into the game as he would have hoped, as England have a free kick midway through their half. He's been in charge since 2017, long-serving Sweden manager, and they have gone deep into major tournaments under him. He's reached at least the semi-finals of all 4 major competitions that he's competed in with Sweden since taking charge. The highlight, that silver medal at the Olympics in Tokyo in 2021. It's a huge tournament in the women's game. It's bitter disappointment that GB won't be there. Ritin Cunnarid, edge of the penalty area for Sweden, pulls it back to the edge of the box. Here is Angledal of Manchester City, challenged by Lauren James. Angledal trying to keep possession, but Kira Walsh will bring it away. She's then challenged by Kosovare Aslani. Russo can't hold on to it. A bit of pinball in the centre of the England half, but England in the end get a foot on the ball, and Lucy Bronze will send it in field to Kira Walsh. And now forward to Georgia Stanway. Out to the right-hand side she goes, and Lauren Hemp, who still is not listening to Gilly and still is on the right-hand side, but she's racing down the right wing. She's cutting in field now, Hemp. Plays the ball to the edge of the area, just intercepted. I think Russo might have strayed offside anyway. And Sweden will bring the ball away, challenged by Niamh Charles and her Chelsea teammate Rising Cunnerid, but Rising Cunnerid brings the ball away for Sweden, and she's done brilliantly, ghosting past the white shirts in the centre circle until she runs into Kira Walsh.
I'm laughing, Vicky. There you go. Lauren Hemp's still not listening to Gilly. You need to listen to me, Lauren Hemp. Come on, Serena needs to listen to me. But no, listen, I think anytime Lauren Hemp gets the ball, when she's able to not be touchline on the right-hand side and she's able to become a bit more central, she's got a bit more freedom.
Here goes Alessia Russo trying to latch on to this ball in behind, and the flag is up on the far side. No VAR, that offside flag will stand, but she was almost in behind there, Russo.
Yeah, I think it's very tight. Obviously, like I said, we were able to have a little replay here, but it's very tight on the monitor. Not really a great angle for us to see if she was on or off, but very close. But that's good for England as well, mixing up a little bit. You know, Sweden, to me, I'm able to watch it back. She's actually onside there. She's unfortunate that that's been called, but it's a good mix-up because sometimes Alessia Russo always comes short. It's good for them. If Sweden are playing a high line, the space is there, run into it.
Yeah, that is a shame for Russo and a shame for England. It did look like she was onside there, Alessia Russo, and she was in left-hand side of the penalty area, a little bit wide, but still, that would have been a big opening for England, who are in possession midway through their own half as the phone lights come on all around us, glimmering like diamonds around the bottom two tiers of Wembley, as England win a free kick just inside their own half. Let's head for an update from Rotherham. Tom Gale.
Where it's Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1, Vicky. As it stands, Rotherham just inside 35 minutes away from championship relegation being confirmed, courtesy of Mumba's first half goal. Virtually all of the noise is coming from the away end, with roughly around 1,000 visiting supporters. Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1.
Thanks very much, Tom, as you hear the cheers and the chants of tune around us, which sometimes sound like booze, but it's definitely tune. She's on. And of course, what a moment she had in the European Championship final here, scoring the opener against Germany as England's lioness has lifted that first major trophy. Here comes Lauren Hemp down the right-hand side, plays the ball into the area. James was there, and Lundqvist knew that. She knew she had to get something on it. She sends it behind for the corner.
Yeah, important position there from Lundqvist as well. Just comes on the back shoulder. She has to stay switched on because she has Lauren James coming right behind her, steaming in. But a good defensive position there to deal with it.
So Lauren James is coming over, maybe to take this corner, although she's looking at Alex Greenwood as if to say, look, come on, Alex, you're the one on set pieces, why don't you take it? And she's left it in the end to Lauren Hemp. She's still looking at Alex Greenwood, Lauren James, but they're going to try something a little different. Here they go, playing it short from the corner. Hemp to Lauren James, down on this near side, the left. Plays the ball into the area, another little deflection, and it will be another England corner. And this time, Alex Greenwood is moving very quickly over to that corner flag.
Yeah, she's called Alex Greenwood over. Listen, stop mucking about now. Stop chilling there on the edge of the box. Get over here and do your job, and that's take the set piece.
So James moves away, and Greenwood prepares to swing this in. France just back and away in the second half in the other match in this group. 1-0 they lead Ireland. Greenwood's delivery, looping header towards goal, is claimed by Jennifer Falk. Didn't quite have the power on the header on the edge of the 6-yard box. It was very much on the angle. Lucy Bronze up from the back. She's a little bit outside the 6-yard box, in fact. Scored a header, completely unmarked, in the semi-final victory over Sweden at the Euros just under 2 years ago. But that time it was straightforward enough for Falk.
Yeah, I think it's hard, though, for Lucy Bronze from that position to really generate any power. You know, she's jumping up to try and battle with the Swedish defenders, but she's not able to really drive and come onto it.
Here goes Angeldal for Sweden, plays it to Johanna Rising-Cunnerid, very well dispossessed by Alex Greenwood on the edge of the penalty area. Lauren James then comes back to help out. That won't be kept in, says the assistant on this near side by Angeldal, and it will be a throw to England, which James takes quickly. Blackstenius will close down Alex Greenwood, and Blackstenius almost robs Alex Greenwood. Greenwood trying to prevent the corner and doesn't do so, or does she? Let's see, the assistant has given the corner. The referee seems uncertain. I'm not sure Sweden expected that, and Alex Greenwood is now turning around to protest as the Mexican wave has a little bit more impetus this time. We saw some fans in front of us trying to start one 6 minutes in. I think that was always destined to fail. This one hasn't reached the Sweden fans and the stand away to our right. There were more people joining in that time. But yeah, Greenwood really not happy about this decision to give Sweden a corner. Could be controversial should Sweden find an equaliser. 15 minutes gone in the second half. England lead by a goal to nil. Jonna Andersson is ready to swing this in, and again it's a crowded 6-yard box, and she swings it deep into it. Mary Earps gets a punch on it, and Angledal then has her effort charged down by Lauren Hemp. Shouts of handball for Sweden not given, and England are away on the counter, but Ella Toon won't latch onto that ball forward, and the ball is all the way back with Jennifer Falk.
Yeah, I mean, Lauren Hemp comes charging out, and it's difficult, I think, from the close angle that it's hard to see whether it's a hand, whether it's a shoulder. But then obviously England do have a great opportunity to break, and it's a bit of a wasted chance as well, really, from Lauren James. Just gives the ball back to Sweden and doesn't really do anything with it.
Sweden are preparing a double change. Roger Kafaji, who has broken into the side of late, and Amanda Nilden are preparing to come on as they look to level things up against England here in this opening of their European qualifying campaign, as the ball is over the top all the way through to Jennifer Falk. Once again, it was Stanway bursting through the centre that time, but Falk out very quickly. Just going back to England's defending in the second half, it feels like as a unit is where they look shaky. The one-on-one duels, players like Ruben Moy and Greenwood have largely got the better of their Sweden counterparts.
Yeah, I think England have won their individual battles, but it's more so when players get pulled out of position and when others fill in and don't necessarily pay attention to the position that they're in, or they get dragged to the ball. That's when they look so open, you know. And it is when a player comes out, naturally you have to close up as a unit, where England don't do that. They still want to stay bold, they still want to stay expansive, and they've not been punished tonight for it, but they have had opportunities against them that Sweden should have took, really.
An hour gone here on 5 Live. England lead by a goal to nil as Niamh Charles plays the ball forward. Nice little touch from Russo, but in the end it just span away from her. Sweden won't prevent the England throw though. Lundqvist on the slide, can't stop the ball from going out of play. So here comes that double change for Sweden. Jonna Andersson, the former Chelsea player, is the first to make way, and she is replaced by Amanda Nilden on loan at Tottenham from Juventus since January, former Brighton player as well. And the second player to be replaced will be Kosovare-Asllani, and she will be replaced by Rosa Kafaji, just 20 years of age, made her debut in October against Italy, scored her first goal for Sweden in their last match against Bosnia and Herzegovina. So Peter Gerhardsson is turning to the players that have been breaking into the side of late. Nilden, 25, and having earned herself that move to Tottenham, now earns herself a place off the bench as Asllani makes way. I'm not sure she's too happy, Kosovare-Asllani, the captain, about being taken off there.
No, she doesn't look too best pleased, does she, Vicky? But she probably thinks as well, I mean, obviously 62 minutes gone, she probably felt like she could give a little bit more.
Here come England. Lauren James with the ball forward, little ricochet. Now it's a Jotty with the foot in, right on the edge of the area on Georgia Stanway, nothing doing. England still coming forward. Lauren James goes for the curler and scoops it over the bar. Well, that is the trademark shot from Lauren James. Sometimes they are absolute perfection. That time she didn't quite find the execution.
Yeah, she comes inside on her left foot. You can see her, she's trying to bend it, she's trying to wind it, trying to curl it in, but yeah, just doesn't get the execution. But you know, I've been so impressed, Vicky, as well. It was a Jotty tonight for Sweden. She's been all over the park. She has dictated the middle of the park. She's been putting her foot in, she's controlled it, she's done really well for Sweden.
Yeah, regular for Brighton in the WSL this season, and Gilly spot on. I think she's been outstanding in midfield for the visitors here at Wembley. But it's England who lead by a goal to nil. 63 minutes gone in this game as Sweden win a throw over on this far side. But it's very much Gilly still feels in the balance. And again, Sweden often, when they get forward, there's not much in it, but would you say they still look slightly the more dangerous of the two teams coming forward, as Charles with a missed control sends it out Sweden throw?
Yeah, I just think with England, when they are getting forward, they're not really creating much from it. But I think with Sweden, when they are,
ball into the area, they're coming forward here, and they've scored at the far post. It's Fridolina Rolfö of Barcelona, and where was the marking from England? It evaporated. Lucy Bronze couldn't get tight enough, and Sweden level things up at Wembley, 1-1.
It is poor marking from England because every single player is ball watching. No one's got an absolute clue where the Swedish players are. You know, obviously everyone naturally gets drawn to the ball. I think there's about 5 or 6 England players in one line. No one gets close enough to stop the ball coming in. And then Rolfö's just chilling at the back post, but it's all come from a Swedish throw-in as well. The ball gets thrown in. There's no one standing in front of the Swedish player. And rolled completely at the back post. Lucy Pond's body shape is poor. She's not got an idea at all where she is. And it's a great downward header, I think, through the legs of Mary Earps as well. It's a fantastic header.
Close range, just as Russo's was. And as England undid Sweden in the first half, so Sweden undo England in the second.
And it's the substitute as well, Flaherty, who's just come on, who gets that assist too. It's just poor from England. It's come from a throw-in, and the ball's able to go straight into the Swedish forward, and there's no one screening in front. No, everyone's completely switched off. And then you allow Flaherty just to basically get the ball, turn, and then able to put the ball into the box. Pretty identical, really, to England's goal, but it's not good enough from England.
Can this be good enough from England? And Lauren James, she's bursting down the right-hand side. Good covering over on that far side by Nilden, who's just come on. And the ball will go out of play for a Sweden goal kick. Well, 1-1. France is still leading the Republic of Ireland by 1-0. And let's head back for an update in the Championship from Rotherham in this must-win game for them. Tom Gale.
Where there's just over 25 minutes of normal time remaining, Vicki. Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1. As it stands, the host looks set to be relegated for the third time in the last 6 seasons. If anyone's going to score more, it's definitely Plymouth. Morgan Whittaker stinging the palms of Johansson 2 occasions already in the second period. It's Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1.
Thanks very much, Tom. Magdalena Eriksson was briefly down inside the Sweden penalty area. The Sweden defender, she's taken the armband as well for Sweden after Asllani was substituted, but she's back up to her feet. Sweden will have this goal kick, and Beth Mead is preparing to come on for England because England need a spark. 4 times coming in elsewhere in the women's Euro qualifiers. Germany have come from 2 goals down to beat Austria 3-2. And latest score, Spain still beating Belgium by 5-0. Spain, the reigning world champions, of course, beating England in the final last summer. That game into the closing stages. And as we just mentioned, France leading the Republic of Ireland by 1-0. Only the top 2 go through from England's group. This is huge. And Blackstenius could be in here for Sweden. Stina Blackstenius to make it 2-1. Sweden, she's missed. 1-on-1 with Mary Earps. What a huge chance for the Arsenal forward. What an almighty let-off for the Lionesses.
How has she missed that attempt? I do not know. I mean, England are so fortunate. She's broke through 1v1. Lot of women more. She starts behind her. The space is there. Like we said, they've been so open defensively. She runs through. It's a banker to put it away. She puts it too wide. It's harder to miss that chance, Vicki, than to score it. She puts it well too wide from the goal.
Huge sigh of relief for England. Huge scream of frustration from Stina Blackstenius. Huge roar around Wembley because Beth Mead, the player of the tournament and the Golden Boot winner at the Euros, is on for Lauren James. And here come England and Mead immediately down the right-hand side. Pulled back to Georgia Stanway. Hemps over on the left again. Gilly smiling to my right. But England aren't smiling here. It's 1-1 against Sweden. And really, with the calibre of teams in this group, these are the home games. The home games against Sweden, France and the Republic of Ireland. They really need to win, England. Yes, it's the start of the qualifying campaign. But this would be a setback as they look to defend their European crown. The top 2 in this group go through automatically. The bottom 2 go into the playoffs as Sweden have a throw over on the far side. But Gilly, I'm still shaking my head about that chance for Blackstenius. What do England need to do to get a grip of this game defensively? Because in the last 5 minutes they've fallen apart.
The problem is that they're not winning the battle in the midfield. Yeah, so a lot of women more. She thinks she's tight. You can't play like that up against Blackstenius, and you can't be so open. Lucy Bronze is nowhere near a lot of women more either on the right-hand side as a fullback. She wants to go all the time. She wants to bomb forward. You can't afford to do that. So the space that Blackstenius drove into, if Lucy Bronze comes and tucks all the way in, because you haven't got possession, she doesn't find that space. So I think it's about, don't play with naivety and always on the front foot. You have to have that mindset as well. What if? What if?
Ball goes out of play for a Sweden throw. We've just seen a shot there of Serena Wigman, who's hidden from our commentary position because she's sitting in her dugout. But she is unusually animated, in discussions with her coaching staff, waving her hands around. She's clearly not happy with what she's seeing at the moment. And again, as Jennifer Falk has the ball for Sweden inside her own penalty area, we go back to the disappointment of the Nations League campaign, where they missed out on the finals on goal difference to the Netherlands. It meant that they didn't have the chance to qualify Team GB for the Olympics. That is a huge blow. It's a massive tournament in the women's game. They won the last 2 friendlies that they had in February, very convincing against Austria and Italy. But the Nations League, and Lucy Bronze touched on it in her interview with 5 Live earlier, it was a bit of a wake-up call. Qualifiers are no longer straightforward for England, and they're dropping points here at the moment in their opening game as Sweden come forward. 1-1 at Wembley. Rising Cunnerid picks it up on the right-hand side, up against her Chelsea counterpart, Niamh Charles. 20 minutes to play here on 5 Live. Nice little 1-2. Rising Cunnerid has it once again. Now Kafaji, the substitute who's provided the assist for Rolfe's equaliser for Sweden. Nice work down the right-hand side, good close control. Rising Cunnerid will play it in field to Angeldal of Manchester City. Gets a deflection off Kira Walsh. It will be a Sweden throw.
Just talking about that as well, Vicky, like your name doesn't warrant you the right to go and qualify for anything, and I think England need to realise that.
Sweden coming forward, Zajotti for once, poor ball, but not the best header away by Lucy Bronze, as 63,248 is announced as the official attendance here at Wembley this evening. So just over 2/3 full. It was a sellout crowd, of course, when England won the European Championship here. The draw for this group made just under a month ago. So organised pretty quickly, these fixtures. As the ball is cleared away by Lucy Bronze, that's better defending. Cleared off Milden for an England goal kick. But, you know, we say just under 20 minutes to play. Yes, it's the beginning of the qualifying campaign, but England surely have got to go for it here.
Yeah, they have to. You know, you're a home nation. You know, you can't really afford to drop 2 points, you know, because you've got other very difficult teams in this group. So, yeah, and England should be winning this game. Regardless, they should be winning this game. But like I said, everyone's going to raise their game against England, you know, and it's not an easy thing. You can't say, oh, we're England, we're going to qualify. No, that ain't the case no more. That would have been the case before when you was playing teams and you was beating them 5, 6, 7-0, however many you want to add on. That's not the case these days.
Here comes Angeldal driving forward towards the England penalty area. She's forced wide by Georgia Stanway, but plays a good ball in, and Rising Cunnerid just can't take it in her stride inside the box. But had she done, she was in there. As Niamh Charles has it at the back for England, but they're just not at it at the moment. She's lost it and will be played forwards once more by Sweden. Good interception on the edge of the penalty area by Ella Toon as the ball is played out by Lucy Bronze to the right-hand side, and England will work it forwards once more. Down that right-hand side they go. Here is Kira Walsh, lovely bit of footwork and does well to hold on to the ball as well. But Sweden in the yellow shirts really pressing the white shirts of the Lionesses. It's 1-1 here on 5 Live as Walsh picks it up once more. Wearing the armband, Leah Williamson on the bench, but at the moment it's all about attacking for England, who are looking to get back in front and start the defence of their European crown with a win in this qualifying campaign. Ball into the penalty area, Hemp on the stretch on the edge of the 6-yard box, can't connect. Sweden goal kick.
Yeah, you can see what Beth Mead's trying to do there. I mean, it'd be very difficult, I think, for Lauren Hemp to, if she does connect with that, she's be at full stretch. So really, she would have struggled to really do anything with it. But you can see what England are doing. But you see with Sweden as well, Sweden are pushing really high against England. So England now, once they break that press, they'll have the space to go and drive into. It's just about beating it and being sensible with it.
Well, rather calm defending from Hannah Lundqvist as well, wasn't it? She's got her arms outstretched as if to say, oh, let's just leave it. No, Lauren Hemp wasn't too far away from that. Coming in there on the left-hand side as England pick up the ball once more with Georgia Stanway. Spain are now leading 6-0 away to Belgium. That's in the final stages of that Women's Euro qualifier. And still, with an hour gone in France, it is just France 1, Republic of Ireland 0, which again, Gilly, I mean, we're talking about France, Sweden, England. Republic of Ireland aren't going to be pushovers in this group either. It is the proverbial group of death in the Women's Euro qualifiers, this group that England are in. Make no mistake, by far, on paper, it's the hardest. England coming forward once more. Ball to the edge of the area. Here is Ella Toon, pulls the ball across but can't find him. And really, Hemp was the only white shirt in there. Comes back out once more. Russo lets fly and Falk comes to the edge of his 6-yard box as that shot got a deflection, loops up and is claimed by the Sweden goalkeeper.
And just talking about Ireland there, Vicky, you know, I think it's one of the most dangerous things that anyone can do is not talk about a team. You know, just think, oh, because they're low in the rankings. Ireland are a good team. They're organised. And do you know what they have? They have the fight. They have the passion. Do you know what I mean? They'll surprise a lot of people and they'll make it very, very difficult for the rest of these teams in this group.
And who do England have next? Ireland in Dublin on Tuesday. I mean, every game in this group is just, it's so tasty. Serena Wiegmann, when the draw was made, says it's tough but very exciting. I think there were a few other thoughts from Lionesses fans, certainly, when that draw was made. As Sweden make another change, Philippa Angeldal of Manchester City is going off and Ellen Rubinson enters the field. It's just moved to the WSL, Houston Dash last month. 6 major tournaments she's been to with Sweden. The 30-year-old, very experienced, as Angeldal makes way.
I think Angeldal's had a good game tonight as well. You know, I think she's had the chance there, which I think she should have done better in the first half against Mary Earps. But you're seeing fresh legs coming on for Sweden now, and I think they're really going to try and go for a winner.
15 minutes to play. England stuttering at the moment as they begin the defence of their European crown. 1-1 here at Wembley on 5 Live as Lauren Hemp picks it up on the edge of the centre circle. Runs into trouble in the centre of the park, and Sweden with a couple of 1-2s are over the halfway line. Here they go, and England suddenly a stretch to the back. Blackstenius will pick it up on the left-hand side into the penalty area. Kira Walsh gets her foot in and just about clears away, and Ruben Moy does so as well, but she's lost the ball, and Blackstenius has it once more out to the right-hand side looking for Sweden's goal scorer Rolfö, intercepted by England, and Georgia Stanway will play it to Beth Mead, who steers it back to Lotte Ruben Moy, and square once more to Alex Greenwood. I mean, we've mentioned that Williamson's on the bench and was hoping to make a comeback. We'll see if she gets on, but you know, we haven't mentioned the fact that England are without Millie Bright, who captained them in Williamson's absence at the World Cup. She's not in the squad due to injury, and as England play the ball over the top and Sweden send it back to Jennifer Falk, how much are they missing her at the back in terms of stability?
Yeah, huge miss. You know, Millie, she's not afraid to put her foot in. She leads, she organises. I think Chelsea, you can see they've missed her. They've missed her presence. But I do think, I think everyone obviously speaks about missing Leah Williamson, but for me, Millie Bright's a huge loss for England, and obviously the quicker that they can get her back, the better as well. But I also think as well, potentially I wouldn't risk playing Leah Williamson in this game. I think it's quite intense to come on, and obviously we've only got like 15 minutes or so left, so we'll see what happens.
Good interception by Niamh Charles, but it's immediately won back by Hannah Lundqvist for Sweden. Spain have got a 7th, the world champions, away to Belgium, so no problems for them starting their World Cup qualifying campaign. And Belgium not a bad side either, although Spain clear favourites for that one. 1-1 here, still France lead the Republic of Ireland by a 0-0 in France in the other game in England's group. Alex Greenwood has the ball just outside the penalty area. Plenty of Premier League action coming up for you on 5 Live this weekend. Our commentaries begin with Everton against Burnley Saturday at 3 o'clock, followed by Arsenal against Brighton, as Sweden almost win it on the far side with Kafaji, who's looked very lively since coming on, but she can't trap that ball, and it will be a throw to England, and more changes afoot. Now this is interesting. Jess Carter is coming on and Chloe Kelly. So Carter, let's see who she comes on for, but that's a defensive change. Chloe Kelly, of course, the extra time heroine here, and they need a hero in England if they're not to stumble at the start of the defence of their European title. Can Chloe Kelly be it once again as Greenwood gets the foot in? Sweden coming forward with Kafaji, and it breaks on the edge of the area. The offside flag is up, and it was an important flag from an England perspective against Johanna Rissin-Kunnered on the far side. So now here come the changes. Alessia Russo, who put England ahead in the first half before they were pegged back in the second by Sweden, is coming off, and Chloe Kelly is coming on, and Niamh Charles will be replaced by Jess Carter, so that might see Alex Greenwood move out and just allow Greenwood to get forward a bit more with those deliveries, shall we see? Or will they go to 3 at the back?
Well, do you know what, Vicky? I'm really annoyed because I actually thought that it was going to be Charles to come off, and I was waiting for it to come to me so I could say to you, Vicky, I think the substitute is going to be Charles off, Carter on, but now it looks like I'm just copying Serena, but I actually thought that was going to happen because for me Charles looked very leggy. You know, she's had a bit of an intense few weeks with Chelsea too, and she slotted straight in Carter on Charles' position at left back.
I would never question your integrity, Gilly Flaherty. I believe you 100%.
I'm going to record that.
Listen back on BBC Sounds. Here come England, ball into the penalty areas. They look to retake the lead. Lauren Hemp visits it behind all the white shirts on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Lucy Bronze can't latch onto it. And this is where, as both sides push for a winner, the game becomes stretched as Sweden over the halfway line. They don't have the yellow shirts forward yet. They're trying to arrive now, as Bronze does well to get back and steer it all the way back to Mary Earps inside the penalty area. And this is where, as well, for Sweden, I mean, this is a decent point for Sweden. And again, we have to reiterate, Sweden, France and England will all come into these qualifiers believing they can win this group. In the grand scheme of things, this point is much better for Sweden than it is for England, and you wonder whether at some point Sweden might start to think about taking it as England come down the right-hand side, ball is intercepted and Nilden will pick it up on the far side for Sweden.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Vicky. I think if any of the two teams are going to be happier with the point, it's going to be Sweden, to be able to come to England and take potentially a point, especially with how the game's gone as well. Really, they should be a little bit frustrated that they've not come away with the 3 points if they don't, because Blackstenius, beautiful chance that she doesn't put away. But I think, if it stays like this, it stays 1-1, then I think, Sweden will be the happier team out of two.
Lotta Vivian-Moy with the interception for England. Forward now to Georgia Stanway, who feeds Ella Toone. Hemp's gone into a central position for now, and Beth Mead is out on the left-hand side. Chloe Kelly out on the right-hand side. It is a position we see Lauren Hemp play pretty regularly. That false nine, or really, I think we should just call her a striker when she plays there. I'm not sure how much false there is about it, but they have WSL's Golden Boot winner last season, Rachel Daly, on the bench as well. Aston Villa's top scorer this season. Sweden win a free kick just inside their own half. But that's it, isn't it? This is the first game in this qualifying campaign. There's a sense in which, England don't need to throw everything at it. But in a way, Gilly, is that what cost them in the Nations League? Because they went into that Scotland game needing to win by an absolutely huge margin. They did so. They won 6-0. But the Netherlands managed to do what they did and went through right at the death on goal difference. And England had left themselves too much to do going into that final game.
Yeah, because they dropped too many points in the other games. And I just don't think you can rely on a team to help you out. You have to take care of your own house, make sure your own house is in order, and don't rely on anyone else to get results for you. So I think now, like I said, out the two teams, if this ends as a draw, I think England will be the ones who are feeling more frustrated with it, because it's going to be difficult, Vicky. As the games go on, it's going to get more and more difficult, especially when you're having to play away from home. And like I said, you can't rely on anyone to help you out and get a result in this group.
Sembrandt will play the ball back to Jennifer Falk. Let's head to Rotherham. Tom Gale.
Time running out for the host, Vicky. Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1. We're inside the final 10 of normal time. They've gone to a back three with everyone else playing an offensive role, but they're still really yet to trouble Michael Cooper in the visiting goal. It's Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1.
Thanks, Tom. Rotherham have to win. They have to turn that around, or they're heading to League One this evening. As England win it in the centre circle. Toon's giving it away though. Stanway gets the foot in and sends it forward, and Toon will try and feed Hemp, but she's challenged. Fine margins at the moment. Hemp almost managing to keep hold of that, but Sweden win possession back, and Sembrandt will send it back to Falk. She's closed down by Ella Toon. Falk clears out to the left-hand side. Too much on it. We've not really seen that pressure put on her, and she sent it straight out of play. Good pressing from Ella Toon. England throw.
Yeah, you'd be thinking, why haven't England done that for the whole of this game? I think Ella Toon just goes against what she's probably been asked to do and just carries on her press and panics Falk a little bit. So, yeah, you'd be thinking, why have you not done that before?
8 minutes plus added time to play. England won, Sweden won in the Women's Euro qualifiers here on BBC Radio 5 Live as the ball is played into the penalty area. A little miscued header. We'll see the ball fall to Beth Mead. Left-hand side of the penalty area, chips it in and it goes past everybody. Lauren Hemp was making the run inside the 6-yard box, but Magdalena Eriksson did enough to put her off, and the ball is behind for a Sweden goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, Magda does enough. We're able to see a replay here, but she just gets her body and then just sort of edges Mead away so she can't actually attack the ball. But, I mean, it's a good attempt from England, but I think, Sweden do really well there. Magda Eriksson shows her experience there in making sure that Mead cannot connect with it.
So 1-1, 7 minutes plus added time to play. Goal kick to Sweden, all the players bunching up on this right-hand side. All right, then, if we say that England left themselves too much to do in the Nations League, do they need to absolutely throw the kitchen sink at this here, even though it's the start of the campaign? Or is that too risky? Because losing to Sweden here at Wembley would be hugely damaging.
Yeah, I wouldn't say chuck the kitchen sink at it. I would think you've probably got more chance of being able to push in the other games, but you can't go too hard and then you end up exposing yourself and you end up losing this game, you know.
England win possession back midway through their own half, but every ball is so fiercely contested. Here is Jess Carter, plays it back to Alex Greenwood. Are you surprised Carter hasn't gone central and Greenwood out to the left? Or
no, I would keep Greenwood and Lotta Woman-Moy together. I think obviously they've played their majority of the game. Alex has also played in City as a centre-back role as well, so yeah, I would put Jess Carter on there and keep her in that position and just keep Alex central.
And that's what they're doing at the moment. Here is Alex Greenwood. Sweden preparing another double change as the ball is played forward, cleared away by Sweden just outside their own penalty area. Won't be kept hold of by Kafaji though. And Kira Walsh has it for England. 6 minutes plus added time to play. England enduring a stuttering start to the defence of their European Championship crown. We knew it was going to be a really tough qualifying campaign. This would not be the ideal start. 1-1 with Sweden in a really competitive group where only the top two go through automatically. But what can they do here? Here is Chloe Kelly. Swings the ball into the penalty area. Hemp's in there. It's cleared away by Sweden. Comes out to Georgia Stanway, 25 yards out. Has Kelly as the option on the right-hand side. Uses her once again. Kelly checks, then plays the ball into the area. It's a poor delivery. Will come out to this left-hand side. And Beth Mead, who picks it up left-hand side of the penalty area, pulls it in field to Walsh. And now Carter. Walsh has it down the left-hand side. Plays the ball into the penalty area. Toon will pick it up and plays it out to Jess Carter once more. England with a good sustained spell of pressure as Toon swings the ball in. It's cleared away nervily by Sweden. I think Falk was going to get there, the goalkeeper, but the defender cleared it away just in front of her as Sweden clear it away again as England send the ball back into the penalty area. 1-1 here on 5 Live. 5 minutes plus added time to play here at Wembley in the Women's Euro qualifiers as the ball goes out of play for a Sweden throw, and Sweden will make a double change. Their goal scorer, Fridolina Rolfö, is off to be replaced by Madeline Janogy of Fiorentina. And Stina Blackstenius will be replaced by Anna Envergaard. And we've got to talk again at 1-1, Gilly, about that huge one-on-one charge that Blackstenius put just wide, one-on-one with Mary Earps. And really, at a time where England were falling apart defensively, they should have scored twice in the space of a few minutes. They've only scored once, and that's why it's 1-1.
Yeah, and I think Arsenal fans will probably understand the feeling that the Swedish fans might be facing, because it's not that you expect that from Blackstenius, but you know, she has to miss so many chances, I think, to score one. And I think that chance there, potentially if you had Rolfö running through there, that she would have put that away. And I just think with Blackstenius, she does have that. I'm surprised really though that she's come off, because I think she's done really well, especially with Sweden getting deeper when the ball has come up to her, to hold the ball up and to bring Sweden up and to win a throw-in and to win those free kicks. So I'm surprised really that they've took her off, because I think she's been giving Sweden an outlet, especially with England pushing forward.
Here is Ella Toon, flicks the ball forward to the edge of the Sweden penalty area. It's cleared away. Chloe Kelly will pick it up though. Right-hand side, 1-1, 4 minutes to play. Pulls it back to Georgia Stanway. Back to Chloe Kelly once more. Kelly wasn't expecting that return pass, but she does keep it in. Swings the ball high into the penalty area. Headed away by Ritin Kaneryd for Chelsea. And picked up by her Chelsea teammate for England, Jess Carter. Yeah, it's a good point, Gilly, because they are attacking changes, but you've just taken off two of Sweden's biggest attacking players there. So it's not as though they're shutting up shop for the point, but still, those are big players to take off as Sweden clear away on the edge of their own penalty area. Good spell this for England. 3 minutes to play, 1-1. Can the Lionesses find a winner and get their defence of their European Championship crown off to a winning start? Or are they going to drop points in what is a very, very difficult group? Ball swung into the penalty area. Beth Mead's there. It's cleared away by Sweden. Carter will latch onto it for England. Plays it back to Walsh. She lays it off to Alex Greenwood, who's getting forward from centre half. Out to the left-hand side, and Beth Mead once more. In field to Kira Walsh. Tries to slide it through into the area. Brilliant ball. Hemp with the save from Falcon, then cleared off the line from Hemp's second attempt. Oh, England were almost perfect there. A brilliant ball from Walsh. 2 good attempts from Lauren Hemp. 2 excellent clearances from Sweden. First the save and then off the line.
Yeah, big save for the goalkeeper. She's on her front foot. She comes out. She lowers the gap for Lauren Hemp. Makes it difficult. And then the defender on the line there as well, clearing up.
Corner to England, swung into the far post, big punch from Jennifer Falk. Really good goalkeeping straight out of the penalty area. It was Magdalena Eriksson, the former Chelsea defender, off the line as England swing it back in. Milden's header across inadvertently. Beth Mead, and Falk will clear it away, and it's another England corner, and suddenly the Lionesses have come to life.
Another big save by Falk as well. You can hear the crowd. The momentum's with England. You know, you feel like a goal is going to come. They just need to keep going at it.
Have they left it too late? 90 seconds of normal time to play. Corner swung in once more by Mead. Powerful header away by Magdalena Eriksson for Sweden, but the yellow shirts are deep and England will pick it up once more. Here is Jess Carter, pulls it out to the right-hand side, and Ella Toon. We've seen late drama here at Wembley. We've seen it in the Euros. We saw it with Chloe Kelly. Are we going to see it here against Sweden? Here on BBC Radio 5 Live. They've dispossessed England down by the corner flag, and they're breaking forward. And this is where it's dangerous for England as Sweden come down that left-hand side. But the ball rolls out of play. Good shepherding by Jess Carter, and it's all the way back with Mary Epps. A minute to play, 1-1.
It's why I'm surprised though with Sweden. Why would you take off Rolfer and why would you take off Blackstenius? Because you get the ball now, you're driving forward, you don't have the outlet. You're just allowing England to keep coming and coming and coming, and Sweden just got to hope that they don't get punished for it.
England in possession with Kira Walsh. Out to the right-hand side, and Chloe Kelly plays it forward to Ella Toon. Turns outside the penalty area. Here is Georgia Stanway. Out to the right-hand side once more. Lucy Bronze getting forward. And now Chloe Kelly plays it into the penalty area. Sweden trying to prevent the corner. And they might do so as well. They do, but Kelly's picked it up down by the corner flag, keeping it in. Here is Lucy Bronze. Plays the ball low into the penalty area. It's a poor delivery in truth as we enter 3 minutes of added time as Rubenson clears away out for an England throw. England very much on top, but that's the key question, Gilly. Have they left it too late? Quick throw into the penalty area. England trying to work something down by the byline, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Well, it almost called out the Sweden defence. It definitely called out me. It's gone out for a goal kick. It's 1-1.
I feel nervous in here, so I don't even know how Sweden feel, because I feel like I'm defending with them. I feel like I'm on the goal line, Vicki. It's just, they've got to hold on because England are chucking everything out. And I do think when you take off two of your biggest players in Sweden, the ones who are able to hold the ball up, you're not helping your Swedish backline out at all because everything is getting chucked at them.
Spain are beating Belgium by 1-0. France still in this group, leading the Republic of Ireland by only 1-0. 13 minutes to play. And in the Championship, Rotherham are heading for League One. They need 2 goals late on against Plymouth, who are boosting their own survival hopes as Lucy Bronze picks it up for England on this far side. 2 minutes to play here at Wembley. England looking to find a late winner as the ball goes out of play for a Sweden throw, and time is ticking away. And again, it's the beginning of the campaign. This result is not a disaster for England, but it's a setback if they don't win here.
Yeah, it's not a disaster because there's still plenty more games to play, but you want to start your campaign on the front foot. You want to start your campaign with 3 points. So England will want that. You know, England, you can tell by the way they're really trying to chase to get a winner.
They're in position. Here is Lauren Hemp, plays it back to Alex Greenwood on the halfway line. No thought of the Sweden counter now. It's all forward momentum for the Lionesses. Beth Mead's delivery into the penalty area, and Jennifer Falk claims. And there we go, maybe we have our answer. Maybe as we enter the final 90 seconds, Sweden will settle for what will be a good point for them away from home against one of their big rivals to progress from this group. Jennifer Falk claims and drops to the ground.
Yes, it's a calm, composed catch by the keeper. You know, as she catches it, she falls down onto the ground to try and waste a few more seconds as well. But yeah, I mean, we're up out of our seats. It's nerve-wracking last minute or so.
Yeah, luckily there's no one behind us, otherwise they won't be able to see us. The ball is cleared away from Beth Mead, and Jess Carter picks it up. We're into the final 60 seconds. It's 1-1 in this women's European qualifier, the beginning of the campaign that England will hope will take them all the way to Switzerland, all the way to becoming the first senior England side, men's or women's, to retain a major trophy. But at the moment it's a stuttering start. Can they find that late goal? They're approaching the Sweden penalty area. Out to the right hand side. Here is Lucy Bronze, lays it off to Chloe Kelly. It's got to be now or never for England. Kelly down to the byline, stretched. Magdalena Eriksson clears it away for Sweden. Back to Lucy Bronze, to Kelly once more. On the right-hand side, plays it in. Poor delivery. Rubenson back there defending. Will clear away. Bronze wins the header, but it only goes out of play. And it will be a Sweden throw. And time is almost up at Wembley for England. Time is up at Wembley for England. A stuttering start to the defence of their European crown. They have dropped points against Sweden in a very, very tough group. We knew this would be a difficult qualifying campaign, and so it is proved. 1-1 it finishes at Wembley.
Vicki, how did you do the Euro final, by the way? Because I'm on my ends here. I'm nervous, and it's only this the first game of the qualifiers. But yeah, I think for England, listen, like we said, I think out of the 2 teams, they'll be the most disappointed that they've not come away with the 3 points tonight. I think Sweden had a glorious chance to take all 3 points, and hopefully they're not going to be kicking themselves later on down the line as well for that missed chance. But yeah, I mean, it's a good start. it's obviously a point. It's not that they've come away with nothing, but yeah, I think out of the two teams, England will feel a bit more disappointed.
Yeah, no smiles out there from the England players or Serena Wiegmann. They've dropped points in the opening qualifier of their European Championship campaign. It finishes at Wembley. England won, Sweden won.
Thank you, Vicky. I mean, Gilly, if we look at that kind of with a bigger picture view, 3 of the top 10 in the world in the group, I mean, how big a setback is that opening night to drop points at Wembley against Sweden?
The good thing is that there's plenty more games to play. But what we obviously saw in the Nations League as well is that, you know, England are then getting the results later on, but are hoping that other teams are going to do them favours to get through. And you can't afford with a group that you've got to rely on anyone else to get you a result. So, yeah, I don't think it's a huge setback. It's obviously not, of course, the greatest start that they wanted. They'd have wanted 3 points, but it's still a point on the board. And obviously now they need to push on, obviously, to look at Ireland next week.
How disappointed was the manner of the Swedish equaliser? I mean, you said during the commentary they were caught ball watching him, and it was I don't know whether you say it was a soft goal, but it was certainly an avoidable goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I think a lot of players are just naturally drawn to the ball. Lucy Bronze hasn't got a clue where Rolfer is on her back shoulder either, which, you know, obviously you're looking at the start of it. It's a throw-in that gets played to the Swedish forward's feet. No one around her. She's able to then turn and then able to put the ball into the box without real pressure. And Rolfer just comes off the back of Lucy Bronze's shoulder and headers the ball down in between Mary Earps' legs. So it's a disappointing from England for the goal that was conceded, because there's a lot of basic errors that happened in that. But, I mean, they're very fortunate that Sweden didn't go on a couple of minutes later to get the winner.
Vicky, this has been such a journey and such a feel-good story, the Lionesses winning the Euros and all that. But, I mean, if we look at this through a more critical eye, with the expectation levels where they are, was there any sense of complacency tonight? Did you see anything in the performance that would concern you moving forward?
I don't think there was complacency, although I think it will be a question that's asked. But I think what it does is it underlines what we expected from this group. It is going to be really, really difficult for England to finish in the top 2, in the same way it's going to be really difficult for France, it's going to be really difficult for Sweden, it's going to be very difficult for the Republic of Ireland, who are the clear underdogs, and by the way are still only trailing France by a 0 with 7 minutes to play in France in their opening qualifiers. So, and I think what it means now, as the England players are in a huddle in front of us, is that, you know, England are going to have to make up some points somewhere else. Going into this game, you want to win your 2 home games against Sweden and France, you want to win both games against the Republic of Ireland, and then hope to get a draw away from home. It's Sweden who have done that, not England.
OK, stay there. I'll get back to you shortly, but I think it's finished, has it, at Rotherham, Tom Gale?
Rotherham have become the first EFL side this season to be relegated, Darren. Full-time, Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1. They had to win tonight, but I'll be honest, they never look likely from what I've seen this evening on the pitch. A 27th defeat from 41 games. They've managed just 4 wins. Their yo-yo relationship with the Championship and League One continues, with 5 games still left to play. Huge win for Plymouth, their first in 7 games. Bolly goal moves them 4 clear of the drop as it stands. So full-time, Rotherham 0, Plymouth 1.
Thank you, Tom. So Rotherham relegated to League One, the first team relegated from the Championship this season. I'll throw this out to both of you, Gilly Flaherty and Vicky Sparks at Wembley. Phil says on social media, England have looked poor. They don't look the same after losing to Spain in the World Cup final. They seem to have lost that magic which got them there. If that's the case, what was missing from the performance tonight?
I wouldn't say England looked poor. I just think with England, it was about breaking down Sweden. I think Sweden defended really well. You know, obviously they defended a lot of balls that come into the box. But it just sort of, I feel like now with England, there is that added pressure. You know, there is. You've obviously the Euro winners, you get to the World Cup final, you don't get the result that you want. You know, and there is that added pressure now. And now it's about, listen, when you come up against teams that are a lot lower ranked than yourselves, you're able to really play average or not play at your best, and you're still able to get a result. Other teams now, when they play against England, will raise their game more than ever because they want to beat England, because obviously of how successful they've been. So now it's about England knowing how to break that down, but also defensively being a lot more switched on and a lot more compact, because they're far too open because they're trying to go for more goals and goals. And
I think what we see as well, Fletch, is that if you go, I would go further back than the World Cup. I would go back to the Euros. Everything went for England at the Euros. They had the perfect starting lineup. They didn't change it for the entire tournament. The subs coming on, particularly Russo and Toon, always made an impact. They had a bit of luck when they needed it, getting through against Spain in extra time, and then, of course, winning in extra time against Germany in the final. They did brilliantly to get to the World Cup final last summer. It's the best finish that they've had at a World Cup. But there were times where we saw the performance level drop because they hadn't found that consistent goal-scoring ability, whether that was from the starting players or whether that was from the substitutes. For example, Russo and Toon were starting but didn't hit the same heights as they did coming off the bench. And also, as Gilly's touched on there, defensively, they were shaky at times. And I think that's only got worse, really. You know, they're missing Millie Bright, they've missed Leah Williamson, they're missing some really big players. But as a unit, they're just not clicking in the same way. And they're up against some really, really, really difficult sides. And, you know, I think there is a lot of thought here for Sarina Wiegman because they are a really good side, England. Let's not get away from that. But this is a very difficult group and there are great sides in this group.
Elsewhere tonight, Wales 4, Croatia 0, Northern Ireland 0, Malta 0, Serbia 0, Scotland 0. The latest score, and Vicky's just mentioned it, in fact it might have been Gilly, France 1, Republic of Ireland 0 is the latest score. That's in England's group, so that's on Tuesday, Gilly. I mean, that's going to be spicy anyway. Republic of Ireland against England at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. Is that a different game based on how well it seems the Republic have done tonight against France?
Yeah, because I think with Ireland, and that's what I said to Vicky on air, it's very, very dangerous when someone doesn't talk about a team. Now, everyone's talking about Sweden and England and France. Ireland are not going to be taken for fools. You know, they've got a good team, they're very organised, they're very compact, but they've got a lot of passion, they've got a lot of fight. They're not going to want to just sit there and be the team that everybody can bank 3 points off. And I think it's going to be a difficult test in Ireland on Tuesday. And I think they need to up their game because it's going to be a different type of game. It's going to be a physical battle. It's going to be late tackles getting chucked everywhere. There's a lot of pride at stake, England versus Ireland. So it's about now finding a different way, because they're not going to play the same as what Sweden done. It's going to be finding a different way to get that result, because it's even more important on Tuesday that they get that result.
Gilly, thank you. Vicky, thank you. Thanks for the coverage tonight. Vicky Sparks and Gilly Flaherty at Wembley watching the Lionesses get a 1-1 draw with Sweden. Opening night, the defence of the European Championship, and it finishes all square at Wembley. So thanks to Vicky, thanks to Gilly. Also thanks to Michael Brown and Owen Hargreaves.